Hello. Look who's getting started relatively on time. The time that I set for myself. Oh, it's Friday. This is a good thing. It's May Day. We'll talk about that today. It's another day, another stream in fascist America. Welcome to whatever this is. An attempt at providing education, advocacy, and a little common sense in this digital wasteland. My name's Aubri Devashrayee. All right. So like I said, it's May Day. People are striking, not making purchases. This is great. The issue is that we need a concerted effort to keep a continual strike going that keeps up the pressure for the system and for our oppressors, these warmongers, genociders, pedophiles. So this is why we need to keep talking about the importance of a general strike, because May Day is important. I want to talk about, I want to talk about the history of May Day, but I also am wanting to cover what's happening on the ground today for May Day, and then get into Culture Corner, as we do on Fridays. There are many things that I'm excited about that I would like to go over, so we'll see if I'm able to get to it all. But yeah. Welcome. Per usual, we're going to start off with a humorous video. And I found this video, it was recommended to me. Timothée Chalamet, replaced by Elmo in Dune. And this looks very amusing to me. I have not seen it, so we'll see what it has in store for us. Okay, there we go. We're more situated. It's brought by the letter F.
Defiance in the eyes, like his father.
Why do you have a blanket on your face?
Come here, kneel.
So many white people with
Put your right hand
their
in the
faces
box.
covered.
What's in the box?
Pain.
So maybe the letter of the day should be P.
I'm gonna want to put hand in box.
Your mother bade you obey me.
Elmo's mama.
I hold at your neck the gom jabba. Poison needle. Instant death. The test is simple.
He's
Remove
like,
your
"What?"
hand from the box, and you die.
Does Elmo have choice to not?
An animal caught in a trap will gnaw off its own leg to escape. What will you do?
I would set it free. And
Yeah.
give it kisses and a bandage.
Silence.
Oh. Oh. No, Elmo knew what to do. No. Too late.
F is for fear. All right, that's it. Okay, sorry. Here we go. I have another funny video that I want to show. I saw this title, "We Need to Impregnate the President." It was unskippable for me. By Vesselance.
Version of me would be even more insufferable. And people are gonna we gotta impregnate the president. You know, I'm not a very political person. You know, I heard Donald J. Trump has done some good, but I think he's done more bad than good, all right? Why in your right mind would you sign off abortion? We need abortion. Abortion was my last straw, okay? I already have a little dick as it is, all right? I don't want to have a kid with a little dick. Can't imagine having a kid and becoming a dad. I'm only 18, all right? Like, I can't imagine a mini version of me. I'm already insufferable as is, so I imagine a kid version of me would be even more insufferable. And people are gonna be like, oh, just wrap up.
Same.
Just use a condom. It's not that simple. It's not that simple. It never has been. First of all, I can't feel anything in a condom. And then second of all, it feels way better to not use a condom.
No.
So why would I use a condom? I
No.
mean, yeah, my girlfriend could get pregnant, but whose fault is that? That's Donald Trump's fault. That's not my fault. So anytime I try to use a condom, I kind of just go limp. I don't know what this is.
Donald
Can someone
Trump's
help me
fault
with this
that you
problem?
don't
'Cause
use condoms?
I need a solution, but I just go limp every single time. And I don't know what it is, but you know, as much as I don't want to get
Hello,
someone
Linton.
pregnant or
Welcome.
contract an STD, I also care about my performance.
How was your day?
And how the other person feels while we're having sex. You know, I want them to be having a better time than me. I want them to be having the best time of their life, you know? So if I'm all limp and I'm all shriveled up in the corner, they can't really have that. Because in case of a pregnancy, we could always just get an abortion.
Shriveled up
But now
in
we
the
can't
corner
anymore.
is
Like, why
wild.
would you do this? Because of you, Donald Trump, my
love this
girlfriend is going to
jacket.
walk around the house like this. Babe, can I get some Taco Bell? I just don't really
Yeah,
think
they're being
abortions are
satirical.
pro-life. If you're really pro-life, you would keep abortions so these women can be
The
safe.
title of this video is "We Need to Impregnate the President." So, I've not seen this. This is a ride. We're on together, I guess.
And happy in their homes. I honestly just think we really got to impregnate Donald Trump, you know? We got to show him how it feels to have something inside of you, feeding on you, nibbling on you, kicking you.
Nibbling.
And I just feel like we really got to gang up on him and impregnate him to teach him a lesson, obviously with consent. Well, I don't know if he'd willingly be impregnated, but we got to show him how it
he would
feels,
not.
all right? Because only then will he realize, man, we got to keep abortions. We got to bring abortions back because it's low-key fucked up.
Yeah, it would
for this to
change
happen to
very
someone.
quickly,
Me
I'm
personally,
sure.
I've always been extremely afraid of getting my girlfriend pregnant. Not to shit on any pregnant people.
That's a good thing.
But man, pregnant people, never seen anyone lower than being pregnant. Like being pregnant, like I feel like that's got to be the lowest point of your life. You know,
For some people,
seeing
yeah.
pregnant fat is just so unsettling to me. You know, maybe like okay, there's regular fat and then there's pregnancy fat. All right, regular fat,
Oh,
just a normal fat person. That's cool. You know, that's
no.
pregnant fat, it's like their belly is protruding. It's literally exactly like this. Like it is so uncomfortable. And you know, I just look at them and I just couldn't imagine what they're going through. Unless it was on purpose, you know, unless the baby isn't an accident, then it's like, oh yeah, good for you, congratulations. But otherwise,
Yeah, tough.
when you're pregnant, you get all these weird cravings. like olives on pizza. If you have olives on your pizza, you're nasty. On this topic about toppings on pizza, I have a confession to make. I put pineapples on my pizza. I love Hawaiian pizza. And people are always shitting on Hawaiian pizza, and I just don't
That
get
is
it.
true.
But no, back to pregnancy, like, it's such a process. Like, you have to sit in the hospital for, like, 12 hours. And it's like,
Sit.
yeah,
As if you weren't
if you want to be
doing
pregnant, bringing life into this world,
labor.
that's a
You
great
weren't
thing.
in
It's
labor.
amazing, you know, but at the same time, is it really that amazing? Like guys, like the earth is already overpopulated as is.
I
Like, do you
misclicked
really
when
want to
ordering
sit
pizza
in the
once
emergency
and
room,
got olives.
pushing a human inside of you for
It's a
12
shame.
hours, for 14 hours, for however long? No, man, because I feel like we really
Yeah,
gotta give
I
these pregnant women
won't
more
like
of
pick
their
them
cookies,
off.
okay?
I won't
Like,
be
and then what
like
if you can't get out of
looking
you to
out
get cut
for
open? They have to.
olives
They
though.
have to.
I do like
Wait, hold on, miss.
Kalamata
They have
olives.
to.
Those are good. Green olives are really concerning. This is
Oh,
so
It's like at
wild.
times, I'm really happy I wasn't born a woman because the thought of being pregnant would like kill me alone. Like, I'd probably just kill myself over a pregnancy scare. No, it's like,
Well,
you guys ever be watching a movie and like there's this couple, there's like a husband and a wife, and they're in the hospital, and the doctor or the surgeon will be like, "Oh, we don't know if she's gonna pull
it didn't
through. Do
really
you want
have
to
any
keep going with the
flavor.
baby,
Felt
or
their
do you want to risk your wife's life?" And they're like, "Keep going
yeah,
with the
the
baby. Like,
squishiness. Not
do you not
welcome.
love your wife? Are you insane? Fuck that baby. Like, we can always try again type shit. Like, I mean, honestly, if I was a woman, I don't even know if I want to try again. Like, almost losing my life over a baby. Did I ever tell y'all how much I hate
Hello.
babies? How much I hate kids? Like, I used to work at Fun Zone, and I was around kids all the time. And I think that
I
was maybe
mean,
the
working
first
with
time I
kids
wanted
might
to
do
like
that.
actually hurt a kid. Like, I actually wanted to like put him face flat on the ground. Kids are just so annoying. It's like,
Bad.
why would you want that hindrance in someone else's life? Why would you want that obstacle in someone else's life? Why would you do that, Donald Trump? Because it's like there's so much money as well when it comes into taking care for a kid. You got to get them diapers. You got to
Yeah.
get them breast milk. You got to put them in school. You got to take them to the doctor. The more I think about it, we really do got to impregnate the president. Like, I don't know who waved off abortions, who was like, "Okay, we got to stop doing abortions," but whoever did it, they gotta be impregnated, all right? I'm just gonna
Yeah.
assume it's the president because he's like the most in power or whatever. So like he obviously saw that, you know.
Yeah,
If he just
he
let it
helped
slide, then
appoint people to
that's
the
on him.
Supreme
I don't
Court
know,
who would
but
overturn that.
yeah, we gotta impregnate this nigga Donald Trump. You know, this isn't a fetish thing. This isn't a, oh, I just want to get the president pregnant. You know, we gotta teach him. We gotta give him a taste of their own medicine. You know, the women. We gotta let them get their justice. You know, we gotta let them. No, how about instead of us impregnating the president, we let the women impregnate the president? Tell me that shit wasn't fire, right? I don't know how we're gonna do it, but we gotta make it happen. We gotta let it happen. We gotta make it happen.
All right. What do the comments say? Genuinely unskippable title. Unstoppable scrolling force versus unskippable title. His ass would not survive going into labor. No, he wouldn't survive any of it. This is the opposite of a villain monologue. This is hero shit. I don't want to make the president pregnant. You do it. Bro gave us a task. A live internet theory. If Trump got pregnant, Roe versus Wade would come back faster than Henry VIII brought divorce to the church. Yeah, honestly. Guys, we don't have to crack the president. Just give him an artificial insemination or something. Yeah. Physically impossible to scroll past that title. This is where we're at. This is the satire happening these days. If I was AFAB, I'd be first in line to adopt or foster. I want kids, but damn, that's a lot. Yeah. As someone who is AFAB, and also non-binary, like genderqueer, pregnancy always terrified me. And I didn't realize that you know, like, because I read books and like in so many books that I read, it was like, oh, people die. Okay. Seeing people like be completely miserable and forced to be homemakers rather than like following their dreams. And I also didn't realize that like a fear of pregnancy was probably a dysphoric thing as well. The more you know. Okay, it's May Day, so let's get a little bit of the history of May Day, shall we?
For millions of workers around the world, the 1st of May is their
These
day.
graphics are great.
In the late 19th century, American labor unions were fed up. Fed up with being overworked, in dangerous conditions, and with little pay. So in 1884, the Federation of Organized Trades and Labor Unions met in Chicago and had one major demand: an 8-hour workday. And on May 1st, 1886, over 300,000 American workers went on strike. 3 days later, thousands of strikers met in Haymarket Square, where a riot broke out between cops and workers. A bomb was thrown into the crowd, killing several people. It was called the Haymarket Massacre. And today, May 1st is known as International Workers' Day. While every country's workers have a different history behind May Day, they all commemorate those who have and continue to give their lives for workers' justice.
Short and sweet. Yeah, I wonder who started the aggression. It was the cops. Duh. Okay, so this is what's happening today in the US. No school, no work, no shopping. Workers, immigrants to lead thousands of May Day protests. So I don't know if there are protests happening around where all of you are at, but it is a great cause. It also is not necessarily going to create a huge sea change in the tide of events. I think it's important to still do to put pressure on these oligarchs and put pressure on the system to realize this organizing power. I don't think there's been really a ton of like advertising for the strike, but similar to the strike that happened nationwide in the US that was in solidarity with Minnesota, it needs to be more than just a day. And if we don't have mutual aid funds set up where we have strike cards that are signed, where we actually ensure that we have the numbers, we have people donating to these mutual aid funds, it really is a privilege to be striking. So like the people who can afford to not work are the ones who are striking right now. And we need to have support. Like the whole point is to have working class solidarity. And the way we do that is with mutual aid so that people have their needs taken care of. Also, the whole grappling with bringing new life into the conditions we live in. Oh, yeah, seriously. I may just adopt anyways if whoever my partner is fine with that. I know. I have never understood that. Of like, there is a lot of hubris, I feel, to be like, no, I have to see part of me. Like, I have to create a little bit of me in the world. Like, I know that may be instinctual to some people, but like, there are plenty of kids who need homes now, like that already exist. So I agree with that. Especially, yeah, with how the state of the world is. Like, how much longer are we even going to have this world? Like, not to be extremely nihilistic, but like, that's kind of where we're at. Like, on the verge of nuclear warfare, the environment is collapsing. We can barely like afford things as it is. So yeah, people who are able to have children now, sometimes they're forced into it because of any number of circumstances, especially since Roe v. Wade was overturned. But also, the people who are like choosing to have children have a lot of expendable income. That's at least what I have seen. And this is also the intention, is to make it so that people who are more upper class, especially white people, trying to force people to increase the white birth rate that all of these fascists are hysterical about. And it doesn't work. It never has worked historically. Like, as a solution for increasing the birth rate. Then there's this whole bloodline argument, just tiptoeing on the lines of eugenics. Yes, exactly. Exactly. Of like, oh, my bloodline is best. I have to pass on these traits. Where people are like, I want to continue my bloodline. Yeah, I completely agree. Where it's like, and why? I don't think I should be anyone's parent. I don't think I should be passing on anything. So that's my take. But yeah, it is this idea of like, oh, I like your kids that come from you, you have a different connection to them. That's like, no, you're just trying to have this like purity, superiority that, like what you were saying, is very eugenics based, very much based in racial segregation and oppression. All right. Let's get into what Amy Goodman has to say on this
is
May
Democracy
Day.
Now!, democracynow.org. I'm Amy Goodman in Boston. Juan Gonzalez is in Chicago. Workers around the world are
she's in
rallying
Boston.
today to mark
Interesting.
May Day, International Workers' Day. In the Philippines, thousands of activists rallied earlier today in Manila, calling for higher wages and end to the U.S. and Israeli war on Iran.
Very cool.
At first, you might think there's no connection. But as we saw when the war in the Middle East broke out, crude oil and gasoline prices shoot up. There's a domino
imagine
effect.
that. War
Prices
affects the
increase
whole world.
across the board. Gasoline
Negatively.
prices rose by more than 100%, leaving our jeepney driver colleagues with
But it's
very
not
little
distributed
income. Many of them no
proportionally.
longer want to go out and drive because they can't earn enough.
In Argentina, thousands of workers rallied in Buenos Aires Thursday ahead of May Day to condemn the economic and labor policies of Argentina's far-right president, Javier Milei.
Unfortunately, today in Argentina, the economic situation and the economic plan being carried out by Javier Milei's government are seriously affecting the situation of all workers, which deteriorates more year after year. People are very angry, very dissatisfied, and they will make that demand felt by taking to the streets of Buenos Aires and the rest of the cities across all Argentine provinces.
In our last segment, we're going to talk with an investigative reporter about her work in India on a people's history
pass my
of
knowledge and ethics
invisible
down.
India.
Yeah, exactly.
But here in the United
I don't give a
States,
fuck about
organizers
my
with the
chemical
May Day Strong
composition.
Coalition say 3,000 protests and
That's like,
events are
I
scheduled for today, with
am
organizers
extremely
calling for
sweaty.
no school, no work,
I'm a very
no
sweaty
shopping.
person.
On
I don't want
Thursday,
to.
Democracy Now! Spoke with
And like,
Wendy
there's a lot of like
Dominguez,
mental
founding executive
health.
director of Organized Power
I'm like,
Numbers
I
and
do
an
not want to pass
organizer with
that
the
on
May Day
either.
Strong Coalition.
So many things.
And so we're standing up to
But
say
yes.
that in
And,
this country,
like,
really the billionaires are
that ultimately is like what it means to actually be a parent, like a parental figure in my mind, is like trying to pass down knowledge and ethics, like ideology and beliefs, history to the next generation. That it's like, even if you are not a baby factory yourself, that you are not a sperm donor, that you can still be a parental figure to many people. Like, especially like being a queer person and like the concept of chosen family, like that is very real, of queer elders being this guiding light when it comes to resistance and how to fight back. People who lived through the AIDS crisis being able to understand what we need to do now to fight back. So yeah, I agree.
the only ones that are profiting and benefiting from our harm. And tomorrow, May 1st, to celebrate International Workers' Day and standing up for all workers in the country, we're calling for taxing the rich so our families, not their fortunes, come first. We're calling for no ICE, no war, and no private armies to serve an authoritarian government and power, and to expand our democracy, not a corporate rule.
We're joined now by two guests. In Los Angeles, Pedro Trujillo, the organizing director at the Coalition for Humane Immigrant Rights and the coordinator of the LA May Day Coalition. And in Chicago, where one is also, Stacey Davis Gates, president of the Chicago Teachers Union, president of the Illinois Federation of Teachers. We're going to begin with Pedro in the streets of Los Angeles. If you can talk about the organizing that's going on in Los Angeles. Last July, immigration agents in SWAT gear and armored vehicles descended on MacArthur Park, where the largest planned rally is happening today. Can you talk about the scale of ICE activity now and the particularly targeting of workers as we discuss this on International Workers' Day?
Good morning, all. And we were just a few hours away from our major demonstration here in MacArthur Park. And as you said, we are standing on the ground that was utilized as a space to intimidate the community just over 6 months ago, close to a year ago, here in MacArthur Park, where Bovino and company descended on MacArthur Park while kids were out here in the park playing. And we have not seen the scale or operations that we were seeing in the summertime and up until the end of last year, but they're still operating in our communities on a day-to-day basis. We're still hearing stories of family separation, of cruelty, and a lot of cruelty in the detention center still. And so that's why we're bringing our group together. That's why we see such a strong coalition coming together, over 120 organizations and unions here in Los Angeles endorsing this march. We haven't seen this level of support, of engagement in a very long time. So I'm really hopeful that we are able to advance our demands, which is that we want
building
no wars,
the organizing.
We want education, healthcare,
it's good for people to see,
instead of
participate
wars.
in.
We want citizenship for all, and we want that people's dignity and that their lives are actually valued, right? That they're not taken as ways of making money off of people's bodies and their lives.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'd like to bring into the conversation Stacey Davis Gates, president of
all
the
of these
Illinois
raids are
Federation
still
of
happening,
Teachers and of the
even if
Chicago
they are not
Teachers
getting
Union.
as much coverage.
You're speaking here
as
from
what they have
Chicago,
been in the past.
the birthplace of May Day back in May 1st,
That people are in these
1886.
concentration camps
Thousands of
in
workers
horrendous
in Chicago,
conditions.
Protested and went on strike demanding an 8-hour day. Could you talk about the efforts of your union to get the public schools to basically shut down so that students and parents and teachers could participate in May Day protests?
Thank you for that. Listen, in Chicago, our union is ran by high school history teachers. And so we thought it was necessary to wrap ourselves in the history of this great city and its interconnectedness to
imagine that,
workers'
the importance
rights
of
movement.
understanding history.
4 years after the Haymarket Affair, our union was born. In order to make this holiday mean something to the families of this city, you have to speak to the young people and their parents. And so we were able to negotiate an agreement, a memorandum of understanding with the Chicago Public Schools to engage all of our children in teaching the truth about May Day and creating academic freedom for all of us to understand where our empowerment comes from. It comes from community. How do we practice it? With solidarity. And these are the most patriotic and American lessons that we can learn, especially on the 250th anniversary of this American story.
So much truth coming from
Pedro,
these people.
I'd like to ask you, it's been 20 years now since the massive immigration rights protests of 2006. You took part in those marches. You were just 17 at the time. Can you talk about the relationship, how those marches really began to represent the rebirth of May Day in the United States?
Yes, that was a time when immigrants all over the country were under attack by a national legislation that Congress was moving forward, the Sensenbrenner bill. And people rose up against it. The community rose up against it because they saw it as a huge threat to the way of lives of many across the nation. And we saw the activation again of unions and community groups coming
But
together.
particularly
We saw
immigrants,
church and
particularly
faith
Latine
leaders coming together, asking
immigrants,
people to turn out,
immigrants of
show up,
color.
and demonstrate their people power in the streets. And so the city of LA is not known for shutting it down, the streets, because of marches, more for traffic that we have here. But on that day, my family and I witnessed just the gridlock that we had of people, blocks on end, hundreds of thousands of people that took to the streets. And that was the
Obviously,
case in
that
other
stuck with
major
them.
cities. And people in small cities were also demonstrating. And so this is a time, once again, where that level of engagement is needed, where people need to join their local group and participate in their local march to shut it down once more. Otherwise, this government will think that they can trample us and to get away with what they're doing.
And Stacey Davis Gates, as president of the Illinois Federation of Teachers and the Chicago Teachers Union. In Chicago, several local labor unions and community groups jointly called for an economic blackout for Chicago today. If you can talk about how you decided to partner with, SEIU, Healthcare Illinois and Indiana, Indivisible Chicago, the Chicago Federation of Labor, and what an economic blackout means.
Well, what it means is that we are creating a coalition to resist the tyranny of billionaires in this moment. Let's be very clear. Billionaires put a president in place to dismantle democracy, a right-wing Congress to watch it, and a right-wing Supreme Court to block us from doing anything about it. It is coalition in this moment that will provide the pathway forward. We know that when working people are allied within their community, showing solidarity with other workers across industry, and allied in community groups, that we not only sustain and secure the democracy that we have, but oftentimes we expand the opportunity for it for others.
The fucking wisdom that comes from community organizers, like, imagine if there were people in positions of power, like elected representatives and people who are running all of these unethical businesses, like if they were able to have that perspective. I mean, clearly they got to that position because they don't have that perspective. But like, this just goes to show, like, we have so much that unites us as working class people, as everyday people, but the people who are involved in grassroots organizing know what they're about, know what they stand for, and that we have way more to fight for than what these fascists and oppressors are fighting for, which is just maintaining their power. That, like, we're fighting for human dignity, we're fighting for our loved ones, we're fighting for the earth, we're fighting to make it so there is an endless war, and that we have so much talent in the working class, way more talent than the 1% the ruling class could ever hope for, which is why they have to siphon off our skills and our wages, which now they are trying to use AI for replacing human beings, and there isn't a way to replace human ingenuity.
And Stacey Davis,
artistry.
I'd like to ask you about another question. On Wednesday, the Supreme Court ruled that Louisiana must redraw a congressional map that was designed to create a second majority black district in the state, where African Americans have long faced racial segregation and barriers to voting. The decision effectively guts Section 2 of the Voting Rights Act. I'm wondering your reaction to what the impact of this will be on the voting rights of African Americans across the country.
Well, it's going to challenge this democracy for everyone. Black Americans are your only reliable voting bloc for democracy in America.
I want to see Steal
if you
the Story
check,
so bad.
Exit polls for almost
180
every election throughout this
pounds?
country,
Jesus
it is the Black voter, and in
Christ.
particular the Black female voter,
Be online
who
somewhere
holds
after the
America
festival circuit.
down
Yeah,
10
I hope
toes.
so.
And so what
Like,
I
would be
say
willing
is that
to
this type of
pay for it,
coalition
you
is
know,
going
like,
to be even
hopefully
more
they
necessary.
stream it on their
And
site.
I would employ
Like, that would be a
my
great
siblings, my
money
brothers
making
and sisters
opportunity
in
for
this
them.
struggle to listen to Black women when we tell you what danger looks.
Yeah, it also is extremely expensive in Park City, the only place that it's showing in Utah where I'm located. And in Park City, this is where we have like all of the extremely wealthy people. They don't really live in Salt Lake City. They may have like an apartment or a house, like a second house somewhere, but like they love to stay above the riffraff, like high in the mountains where they aren't affected by the air pollution and where they get to go like skiing every other weekend. So it's like having to fight those kinds of people and like these upper class liberals who are buying tickets. It's because it's a festival over like a week without the option of a day pass. Yeah, these festivals are so classist as well because of these price barriers and everything being bought up by ruling class people, essentially.
And throughout this country, it is the Black voter, and in particular the Black female voter, who holds America
people can
down
afford to see the
10
damn
toes.
thing.
And
Yeah,
so what I
aside
would
from the
say
other
is that
journalists.
this type of
I know.
coalition is going to be
Yeah,
even
the
more
irony.
necessary. And I would employ my siblings, my brothers and sisters in this struggle, to listen to Black women when we tell you what danger looks like, because for us, it looks like Donald Trump.
Yep. Like Black women, the intersectionality of Black women, especially queer Black women, disabled queer Black women, immigrant Black women, like all of these people are some of the first people to experience what these policies are doing when it comes to the human harm. So like there is a reason why Black women, why queer people, why all of these intersections of marginalization, people who experience these things are at the forefront of protecting everyone's rights. Because when you are experiencing this kind of marginalization, you understand how you are affected in multiple ways with the disempowerment and oppression. Hello, Tan. Welcome. If it was an outdoor venue, I'd be over there with a bear bong. Yeah, just trying to siphon it from the air, the airwaves.
The protest in Los Angeles come in the wake of
How are you doing,
all
Tan?
of the ICE raids across the country.
How did your appointment
do you
go?
expect that you're going to
doctor?
be able to
How are
get
you
the same
doing?
kind of turnout, given the enormous repression that the immigrant community, especially, is facing throughout the country?
Yes, the city is not just an immigrant town. It's just that we have our families are from all kinds of statuses. So maybe the undocumented person doesn't feel comfortable going out to protest today. And so they'll send on their behalf their US citizen child or their legal permanent resident spouse to join this march. It's just the city is just so intertwined between immigrant and non-immigrant. We don't really distinguish that just because of our makeup of our city. It's such a cultural melting pot that we have here in Los Angeles, that's not how we
Canadian
operate.
is
And so
cheering
when we
for
see ICE in our communities racially profiling
Arthritis
people,
Awareness Month.
it's because the city, the makeup of the city, it's just so intertwined
Arthritis
that even US
Awareness Month?
citizens
I didn't know that.
are caught up in the racial profile, right? And so for us,
you
as
don't mind me
organizers, we
asking, do
think
you have
of
arthritis?
the risks, we prepare
I have
for the
two
risks, the
siblings
potential
that
risks,
do.
as we always do in our demonstrations, but we always give people the agency to choose
And it
where they want to
developed
fight
when
for
they
their
were pretty
liberation,
young,
knowing the
like high
risks and
school.
giving the information so they're able to show up. The only thing I'll say about the courts in this last question is that the courts are not going to save us. We as community members need to show up and show our strength either by showing in these public spaces, organizing our dollars, where we spend it, who we boycott, especially these companies that are profiting off of immigrants being in detention. And that's what it will take, us really taking our power back and reminding those in power that we are the ones that make this country run.
Thanks for watching Democracy
yeah.
Now! On YouTube. Subscribe to
Which, speaking of boycotting things, and not making purchases this day, I do have that choreography coming out, just like the one, regular one on YouTube, but also the one on Patreon. And so if you aren't wanting to purchase something today, you don't have to do that today. You don't have to watch the video on Patreon and make a purchase today. But another day where there isn't a strike and what are they calling it? No shopping, like economic blackout, feel free. It's a headache and a half, but I've gotten worse down my sides. It'll be over within a week. I'm sorry. I really hate that you're having to go through that. Saw the skit earlier. Palantir run, like the Scientology runs. Deepest Palantir run. Amazing. Yeah, the Scientology runs, I love that so much. And I've been saying that we need to do that to Mormon temples.
Stop. Hey, stop. Stop.
Stop. God.
Go. Stop. No.
Uses for blood. Yeah. Oh my god. Honestly, though. Palantir is evil.
You guys really need to get out of here.
Let's go to the M&M store.
Okay, let's go.
Store. The M&M store in New York City is infamous for being a tourist trap. Guess what? When my family has visited New York City, when I was with my family, that was a favorite. Surprise, surprise. They love all the tourist traps. That is amazing. Something that I don't understand about Palantir is that, like, all of these billionaire white Christian nationalists, a lot of them coming from apartheid South Africa, descendants of Nazis, like, directly, that, like, they are using this, like, myth-making, like, Lord of the Rings, like, a Palantir was, like, that little orb that Sauron would use to spy on people. And, like, so you're admitting that you're evil? You're admitting that, like, you are this negative force trying to spy on people for nefarious means? Like, where is the self-awareness? Or they just are, like, so completely evil that they're like, yeah, and what? That's probably what it is. I've been to the London one as a kid. Okay. M&M store. That is. Not the Palantir office. Yeah, I got you. Oh, if you had been to the Palantir office, I would be concerned. I'm like, why were you there? What is your job? Did you do any direct action there? Hopefully. Okay. So, continuing along with what's happening, this is kind of a transition. We're transing from politics to culture. So much of this is intertwined together, especially as we see this white Christian nationalism rising around the world, but also just ethno-supremacy, and how there is this suppression and oppression of people with restricting culture and opportunities for art and self-expression and practicing important traditions. So this is the final gathering of nations. This is an event that happens with all of these tribal nations in the US, and some Native people refer to it as like everyone in Indian country. Some people like that term, some people don't. And this was a huge powwow and like display of dance and food, just this cultural celebration. So it really is sad that this is the final one and kind of ominous, but because there has been so much defunding because of DEI, again, the ethnic cleansing projects that are being embarked upon by the US, this empire, and these other fascistic governments, that this is the intention. It's to make it so that people are not seen and people are invisibilized and they don't have the means and resources to pursue their art and cultures. Just 11-year-old me doing direct action. Like, who's this little gremlin running around burning all her shit in Palantir? Yeah. Which, speaking of Palantir being in Lord of the Rings, I have been like creating like notes because I'm a fucking nerd about decolonizing Lord of the Rings, and this is not related to the decolonization, but I'm excited to talk about that one day. I'm still trying to like build it out so I have enough material to go off of. But I think Lord of the Rings should be changed to Lord of the Hairlines, especially from the movies, because we get a lot of hairline representation in those movies. I love that. That's great. But it is like this wild concept of people like who are balding. Cool. Love that. No shame in that. But then they have like the thickest hair right after. That is like, okay, interesting. I was a loader kid too, so I could have guessed they were bad back then. Yeah, it's just like they're so cartoonish with how evil they are. Like they're just like Elon Musk being like, I'm dark MAGA. That's like, what? So you understand that you're evil? Like you aren't embarrassed by that? I don't know. But then again, we know that they don't have a sense of morality.
The Gathering of Nations is taking its final bout this weekend, marking not just a cultural loss, but also an economic one.
Yeah, Peyton Spellacy joins us live from Expo, New Mexico. And Peyton, how many people are expected to be in town this weekend?
The Gathering of Nations is taking its final bout this weekend, marking not just a cultural loss, but also an economic one.
Yeah, Peyton Spellacy joins us live from Expo, New Mexico. And Peyton, how many people are expected to be in town this weekend?
Yeah, Shelley, Darlene, lots. They say that it's shaping up to be the biggest event yet. Officials say tickets are selling out really fast, and the vendors that will be right here, their spots sold out quicker than ever. Now, the city says 100,000 to 150,000 people came in last year for the event, and they're expecting even more this year.
So the next thing people notice is when they get here, their energy just goes through the roof. And the more people get in here, you can feel it in here.
James Edwards with the Gathering of Nations says it's not just the loss of the largest powwow in North America. It's the heart behind it that will be missed.
It's always been a spirit-driven event. And bringing people together in such a venue and being celebrated how we feel Indigenous culture can be celebrated on a big stage in a big way.
That spirit comes with a...
This is off topic. I mean, what he's saying is absolutely true about the community of being like, we're still here. We're here and we're beautiful. We have amazing food and culture and dance and like celebrating who we are. That is like, it's so tragic that that's not happening anymore. But again, this is the intention of like defunding all of these different programs through DEI bullshit. There was someone in the YouTube comments because I had one video, it was a VOD that I posted, you know, talking about indigenous resistance, and they were trying to say, like, indigenous is not an accurate term. I can't believe you would you would be brainwashed. They try to get you to say that instead of native, because indigenous is like indigent, which means broken. And I'm like, okay, these have different root words. Like, you trying to like do a flex is just showing how like idiotic you are, and you also are clearly not around any native indigenous people, because you would understand that that's a term that many people use. Anyway, that was amusing to me.
Major economic footprint.
Oh, it's huge. You know, it's somewhere around, 28 million per year.
One that the whole city will miss.
The worry that I have is what does that look like for the restaurant business, those that come as vendors that are selling their wares.
The city says hotels across the area see about a 20%
People love to
boost
create
during the
their own
event.
etymology.
That's a huge
This
number
is true.
for us economically. I would say that the biggest impact
Continuing
is
the
gonna be our
through
small
line of
businesses. Those are the
Americans
ones that I
being
think are
so
gonna
dumb.
feel this hit their pockets.
It really is
Businesses nearby count on this
the
weekend
downfall
to bring a surge
of
of
the
customers.
nation.
It's better than the average, weekend. We wait for it.
Waleed Aziza's family has been selling authentic native jewelry for decades, and he says losing the event would be felt immediately.
We have a lot of repeat customers that come in from the Gathering of the Nations
Yeah,
that come down
sure.
and just to see us and shop with us.
The thought on everyone's mind this week.
Hopefully it comes back. What could we do?
I asked Edwards why this is the event's final year.
Sometimes with this, the spirit tells you when to stop also, not just to start something.
But the city says it might not be goodbye for good.
From the city standpoint is I'm open to hearing those conversations. I would love the city to see this as an opportunity to step in and provide another space.
Yeah, it probably is the city
Yeah, so the
cracking
city
down.
said it's still in very early talking
not
stages
offering a
of another
permit
potential
for it,
replacement.
or-
Nothing serious yet. Now, we also spoke with the general manager of Expo New Mexico. He says he's had a few
Something,
inquiries about
permission.
the replacement, but again, nothing serious. Live in Albuquerque and Peyton Spellisy, KOAT Action 7 News.
Gathering of Nations is this Friday and Saturday at Expo New Mexico.
Okay. I saw, in the comments, the Flagstaff powwow from the 60s and 70s were the beginning of this event. When the Flagstaff became overcrowded, it moved to Gallup. Thanks, brothers and sisters of a different mother, all the beautiful memories. Yeah. It's so sad. I'll show this. The spirits told him to hold no more gathering of the nations. As a Native American of Canada, Anishinaabe of the Ojibwa tribe, I am taken back by this news. I figured the funding for this specific event was being stopped. I'm guessing that's what it is, but they're just saying, like, it needs to end. But to find out it's the spirits telling them to not continue the celebration of nations only leads me to believe something drastic is going to happen in the near future. But what can that be? I heard from friends it became a ripoff. Give the tribes official recognition and official venue. Give an avenue for people who can't afford to come but should come. I saw a comment as well that was like, hey, we are Pacific Islanders and we have a gathering of nations of our own. What if we like traded off so that like the economic burden wasn't as hard? Like, that would be cool. But yeah, I mean, like, stuff like this, especially as it gets more commercialized, like co-opted by business, capitalism, like, I wonder how much of that has an effect as well, that less people are able to participate. I went to a powwow for the first time, I think I was like 5, and it was in New Mexico. And I remember, especially growing up Southeast Asian, but not being exposed to Indian Desi culture really because of colonized minds and forced assimilation, that I remember seeing people like have so much joy as they were dancing, and how like drums and rhythm were like speaking to my spirit, that I was like, there's something missing here. There's something missing in me that I am seeing reflected, even though it's not the same culture, but like this celebration of heritage and joy that people had, especially with dancing, that like clearly I still remember. And with learning more Indian dances, traditional Indian dances, like going to more like family events, like as we got reconnected, and learning some of these dances, actually being like, oh, I like feel like my body more naturally does this. Interesting. It's easier for me to do this than it is to do ballet. It's almost as if my body is like built more for this than for ballet. It's like same thing with like eating like authentic Indian food for the first time. I remember I took a bite of like some chicken tikka masala, which is, you know, a very standard thing for people to eat when they're introduced to Indian food. But I remember taking a bite, and like the feeling of it was almost like feeling high, of like, whoa, like there's like some sort of like memory happening here where it just like felt right, and like getting like goosebumps, that I was like, that is way more of like a spiritual experience than anything I've ever had in Mormonism. So the power of like connecting with your roots and celebrating who you are really cannot be underestimated. There is a longer video of past Gathering of Nations that I may show depending on time, but if not, I'll show it next week. Okay, so this is an Indonesian band that apparently is changing everything, a metal band. I am interested in who they are. This was recommended to me. I've been listening to a little more metal lately. I wouldn't say I'm like a metal head, but there is a reason why punk, metal, rock, rap, all of these art forms that are based in anti-establishment and pushing back against oppression, like there's a reason why they're having a resurgence. It's because the voice of the people are speaking. People claim chicken tikka masala is a British dish. No. Because it was created by someone who immigrated to Scotland, like the Germans, and Donner all over again. Oh. Classic colonizer behavior, you know? Which, speaking of that, and like the British Empire, how the king came and visited the US, how he went and spoke to Congress, which they were like clapping every 5 seconds when he was talking because they're very clearly elitist. And I think many Americans have like daddy issues with the UK, and like hearing a British accent immediately they're like, oh yes, intelligence. It's like, I mean, I think most people in the UK are more educated than the average American, but also there is like a huge blind spot for many Americans when they immediately hear an accent, a British accent. But he visited New York as well, and Zoran Mamdani did not meet with him privately, even though he had the opportunity, which, like, fierce. This is someone who understands what colonization is. And someone asked him, like, what would you talk to him about? And if you had a meeting, and he said, well, I would say that he should return the Kohinoor diamond because it was stolen from India. Love that. It's like, and while we're at it, how about you return everything that's in the British Museum, everything that was stolen? And all museums do that for this matter. I loved that.
Farming village in the religiously conservative.
Oh no, I forgot to refresh. Shame on me.
In a small Indonesian farming village in the religiously conservative West Java province, an all-female Muslim metal band is pushing back on traditional values.
Oh. This is so hard.
We are more brave in making music, like more brutal.
Loud Society. On our mission to explore the Indonesian heavy metal scene, one of the bands I really wanted to cover is Voice of Bajaput, an all-female trio from the small Indonesian village of Singgajaya. They had come to my...
It is so Southeast Asian motorcycle scooter culture is so real. Like seeing 3 people on a bike, that's pretty standard. Tan and I have talked about this before. I don't know about the average Brit being more educated in reality. Yeah, that's fair. Our school curriculum isn't much better than what I've heard from the US. Yeah, I mean, you're probably right. Both empires that are very interested in not teaching actual history. But I do think there is slightly more, like, I think you understand more about how the American government functions than most Americans do, or like the average Brit. Like, I think most Americans just like really have no idea of like American involvement in foreign policy in history. And especially if they come from these conservative strongholds, because they have ensured that all this curriculum is extremely sanitized to support, you know, ethno supremacy, Christian nationalism. But yeah, I mean, you're probably right. I do think, yeah, it still remains, and maybe I'm falling into that very thing of being like, the Brits are smarter than us. We did World War II for like 3 years and didn't really tap into the actual core of fascism somehow. Yeah, interesting. Interesting. How, like, probably the US wouldn't have even been involved in World War II to begin with, like, if Pearl Harbor hadn't been bombed, and wouldn't have been on the Western Front at all, because a lot of Americans liked Hitler. Hello. They were like, yeah, he's turning it around. Because guess what? Fascism is late-stage capitalism, so all of these capitalists were like, yeah, that looks fine. And it wasn't until Hitler actually said that he was going to start a war with, that America was an enemy, that then the US joined. But yeah, how Americans learn about World War II, it really is this kind of stolen valor. I mean, there were some helpful things that the US did in fighting and like freeing France specifically, but it really gets so sanitized, where that has led to this myth making of allowing people who hold very fascist beliefs to think that they aren't fascist because they support the US side on when they learn about World War II. That they're like, oh, that's me. I'm not the Nazi. But then, like, holding this belief that they have, like, this history of heroism while completely ignoring American empire and the complicity that went into even the rise of fascism during that time period to begin with. It was all very, he did this, he did that, and without really exploring the abstracted way that people will do it again. Yeah, exactly. Because human nature sucks. Sadly.
attention when they played it back in open air in 2022, where of course they were talk of the town.
We
as
just
the
need
first
like
all-female Muslim
worldwide
hijab-wearing heavy metal band,
education
but they
that's
weren't just a short-lived
democratized.
sensation. These women had fought hard to get to
That
where they were.
there
and
isn't
had earned their success. We
gatekeeping,
joined them at their intimate 20th anniversary
elitism.
gig in Garut, Indonesia.
So this is just a simple party to celebrate our 12th anniversary. It's been hard years. Yes. Yeah, it's been a hard years, 12 years, a lot of tears. We have changed so much. One of them is we are more brave in making music, like more brutal, I think. And also in making lyrics, we are no doubt about it. Like we will curse and everything.
Yes.
Because, at first we were afraid people will judge us or will think that we are bad influence, but now we don't care. Come.
Yeah. Yeah. Not even necessarily human nature, in my opinion. Are you?
We did the Euro tour, US
Are
tour,
you in
and we
the
learned about responsibility,
crowd
and also
that
how to
you think
manage
humans
the
are
event like
born
this, and also
better, and then we are
management,
made
because
into
now we are
these
independent.
monsters?
Because we had when people control us. We are not really good at compromise, so.
I mean, it is a good question to be asking. Like, as we were reading Rousseau, was it last week, a couple weeks ago? Just the nature of capital and what people will do to maintain it. Yeah, that is true. I think also as well, it's like, I mean, capitalism is upheld by these systems of oppression and marginalization. Like, you can't separate capitalism and race, and how patriarchy and heteronormativity play a role in it. But also that until we completely dismantle not only like the capitalist system, but also these systems of oppression that are built into the fabric of society, like this very deep anti-Blackness that is permeable throughout the entire globe, really, and trying to make it so that we are looking at things on a systemic level, that there's education as well to be anti-racist, anti-queerphobic, anti-sexist, anti-ableist, especially, that like even if we get rid of capitalism, that there will still be racism and ableism, like all of the isms that exist. That, I mean, again, like people use these things to maintain power, that like people aren't born this way wanting to like give in to all of these forms of discrimination, I don't think. But I do think humans can be pretty selfish. And yeah, that whatever system you're living in either like lends itself to that selfishness to exploit people more, or it has more limitations.
We think that
I don't know if that
independent
makes
will be
sense.
a better way, more freedom and better way for us. This 12 years was awesome.
I think they're fucking great. I watched that YouTube video where they talked to Tom Morello. So sick. Hello. Yeah.
They talked to Tom Morello.
I'm excited to meet you.
Notably, on Guitar Hero, my first exposure to Tom Morello, like I heard Rage Against the Machine, like the music, but they definitely lighten his skin on Guitar Hero.
We are VOB, Voice of Budget from Indonesia, and this is School Revolution.
Yes.
Voice of Bacheprot has become
This
the first
is so
Indonesian band
fucking
to be
cool.
selected to play at the iconic Glastonbury Music Festival in the UK.
So looking forward to this. This is going to be amazing. Would you please make a big noise and welcome Voice of Bacheprot?
You're so talented.
What? We invite most of our fans. We call them Balad Jeprot. So it means noisy
Like,
friends.
sure,
They come
tribalism
from every
exists
city in
inherently, but
Indonesia,
I think
like Jakarta,
within such a
Bandung,
connected world, I
Bekasi,
don't
also
think that
Jawa Tengah,
looks
Jawa Timur.
the same
We
way
are
as it
happy
did
to
throughout our
welcome them
evolution.
here.
No, that's true. I think that's correct.
Jadi kayak supportnya itu bukan
I
cuma
agree with that.
secara emosional tapi secara
Goosebumps.
materi juga mereka
Killing it.
pada
Yeah.
semangat.
It's always heartwarming when we saw Bala Jeprot support us in many
really cool
many
style,
things, like the
too.
material. They help us to build a studio because we are independent and we broke. Help us to make this event.
Yeah, same.
So group of our bands will perform here. They say that they inspire from us to make music, and of course we are happy about it, so we bring them here.
Sadly, the
fans who had been
pattern
invited to perform
of
was 8-year-old
art getting
Cheryl, who
better
blew away
a lot of the
everyone with her
time,
impressive drum
especially
skills.
like
Cheryl is such a
younger people really engaging in creating more art that is really good, comes from circumstances getting worse a lot of the time, from increased oppression and material conditions deteriorating, because there is anger, there is this drive for social commentary and to have the subject matter have more like meat to it, I guess.
perfect
So
example of how important it is
it
for
shouldn't
young
have
girls
to
have role
take
models
that,
to aspire to.
but
In this case, the powerhouse City, drummer for VOB.
I like
this
playing
is
drum.
very cool. Yes.
Oh, terinspirasi karena itu keren.
Yeah, they are cool.
Pertama kali aku ditonton langsung sama Aubri, tapi langsung di depan via Aubri.
All of these adults at her concert.
Next up were the Arnott's, a cover band who had won a school competition to perform here at the Voice of Badgerport anniversary.
First, I feel so nervous banget, pokoknya bener-bener udah tremor banget, gak bisa dideskripsiin. Jujur bener-bener kayak, aduh bangga banget, gak expect, pokoknya happy banget deh. Dan malah kan VOB malah jadi pertama kali ya hijabers gitu, rock and metal, dan itu penting banget sih, pokoknya buat kita musik kan bisa kayak dilarang musik metal lah, apalah kayak gitu kan. Tapi pas VOB ini, keren banget bisa.
They are so fucking good.
I'm from West Jakarta, dan sekitar
That's like
6 hours gitu, lumayan sih lama.
Hendrix. That's like a Jimi Hendrix
I'm so excited.
level.
Of course, the person responsible for getting Siti, Marsha and Weedy into music, their school counsellor, Abba Erza, was also at the event to celebrate his former pupils. The rigid school system hadn't been working for the girls, and so they were sent to the counsellor at their school. Erza quickly realised
Bless
that they
that
needed
teacher.
an outlet for their emotions and suggested to take up playing instruments.
Good
And
teachers
so, the magic began.
Di sekolah mereka tidak diterima
cannot
dengan
be
baik karena kita penganut culture keseragaman.
understated
Sesuatu
or
yang seragam itu dianggap
undercelebrated.
benar, yang beragam kemudian dianggap aneh. Nah, kemunculan mereka dengan musik yang jujur
What
mereka
language are
kejadian
they
keseharian, mengkritik
speaking in?
sistem, mengkritik sekolah, mengkritik aturan, ya dianggap sebagai sesuatu yang kurang ajar.
That's a good question.
Sehingga kemudian tidak diterima.
The Indonesian?
Misalkan aku justru bener-bener ke School Revolution karena kan kita masih sekolah juga, dan itu pokoknya yang beradu persepsi kayak gitu. Kayak itu liriknya enak banget dan valid banget buat yang kita masih sekolah kayak gitu. Paling aku politik sih, bener-bener politik itu apalagi Indonesia, kacau kayak gitu.
It feels chaotic. For being like embarrassed but proud of that, or like shy about it. Okay, 700 living languages. The majority of languages belong to the Austronesian language family, including languages such as Acehnese, Sudanese, Bujanese, Papuan languages, Javanese. Yeah, the official language is Indonesian. Good teachers bring such clarity. Yeah. Yeah. Good teachers are like angels, honestly. I'm not a religious person, and I don't know if I believe in angels, but they make me feel like there might be. Interesting. Oh, so we have Minangkabau, those Dutch, surprise, colonizers, Sanskrit, Portuguese, more colonizers, Arabic, and English. Interesting.
Indonesia itu harus dengan jujur kita akui bahwa negara kita, negara kami.
Yeah, I'm guessing they're speaking
belum cukup pintar untuk
Indonesian.
menerapkan demokrasi. Kan demokrasi itu menuntut prasyarat kecerdasan, pintaran gitu. Nah, menurutku negara kita belum cukup pintar untuk bisa menerapkan demokrasi. Artinya kritik akan selalu berbahaya. Di negara yang
Democracy requires a
I think
certain amount of
we just
intelligence.
have to extra like be careful about what we talk on our music, because like the police, it's become more like, yeah, they don't like it. They doesn't like it when we judge them because what they do. Some of our friends also be in jail because they talk about they speak up about the condition now, political condition, like because a lot of corruption, nepotism also now. And I think this will be a huge situation for musician because we got a lot of idea for lyrics.
Yeah.
To write about the corruption. The topic is about corruption, and I think it will be a new problem for us. We are excited about it. Yeah.
That revolutionary optimism in the face of like fear of law enforcement. So cool.
The world is getting worse now, I think, like the climate change and everything. But we cannot expect anything from the old men like that. They don't think about our future. Yeah, they just think about their
2
ego.
weeks ago.
So we just have to make our own movement and
Metal builds communities.
break everything that they say. The most important thing is people have to learn.
Yeah, this is why the powers that be, even though we are so disempowered and it's like, oh, I guess the only thing we can really do to fight back is like be in the streets and use our voices, is that like look at all of the inspiration that they are creating. Like this community building, this 70-year-old man saying he has tears in his eyes. This made me smile. I really like the counselor. Yep, exactly. Be smart enough to practice democracy. Yeah, because it's inspiring. This is why I say that art is revolution.
They should learn that women have choices, that they want wear hijab or not. It's their choices. So we have to focus on that. So it's not about hijab, but it's about
Indonesia
choices.
is among the
And
countries that will
we
be
don't-
worst affected by
we
climate
don't have
change
to,
too. Okay.
Decided
Yeah.
what they should wear or what they should say or something. So just
Also
keep their
explains
freedom.
more. Like that was one of the first things that they were talking about.
For now, it's many progress, especially in the metal scenes. So we see a lot of women also involved in the scene now.
Cool.
If we want a lot of female metal musicians to more involved, we still have a lot of homework to make it through. But we do see the progress.
Thanks to bands like Voice of Bachapot, more and more young girls and women are being inspired to play heavy metal music.
Yeah.
With young talents like Cheryl and Michaela,
Clearly.
there should be no shortage of female musicians
Like
in the
that
future.
little girl just shredding on the drums. I don't know if shredding is like the correct term to use for drums. You know, you use that for the guitar. Okay. That is so cool. Whiplash. Me going back and forth. Climate pressure on Indonesia. Heat, disease, and disaster. If you haven't seen The Sound of Metal, that movie is excellent. It has Riz Ahmed in it. Ahmed. He is such a fucking incredible actor that is a musician himself. Only 1.8 of the world's CO2 emissions. But yeah, disproportionately being on the receiving end of climate disaster. Extreme heat. It's making people sick. It's almost as if unchecked capitalist greed is destroying the world. Yeah, the cocoa industry. Thank you for sharing this. I'm going to look at this in more detail. Hopefully it's more entertaining than watching Gordon Ramsay. Gordon Ramsay, wait, what do you mean? I mean, yeah, it is definitely more entertaining. Okay. Oh, did you see that short of... Ew. She is so scary. What is this? I'm gonna look at this real quick. What is happening? Ew. Being evil really takes a toll on your face. Can we go back to the day when nobody had ever heard of Erica Kirk? Yeah, what a performative nut job. Yeah. She's literally psychotic. And she wonders why Drewski mocks her? Exactly. That is some Alex Jones level performative intensity. Yep. That is crazy. It's hard to be such a grifter. I expected a drum teacher to be spirited in a serene way. Like piano teachers, but oh man, oh, yeah, yeah. Yeah, drum teachers seem like they're pretty unhinged. Why is she cosplaying as Elon Musk? Seriously. Yeah, the outfit is so ugly. Can't wait for her autobiography. Her late husband, yeah, she's gonna try to get more money from him. How she had like a setup of like at these like Turning Point USA events of like, oh, this is what the canopy looked like that he was assassinated under is like so crazy. I saw someone say I would have been a lot sadder about Charlie Kirk if I knew it meant I was gonna have to hear from Eric all the time. Yeah, that we're like, oh no. I've been working on my opera Kirk. I don't want to blow out this mic. We are Charlie Kirk, we carry the flame, we fight for the gospel, we honor his name, we are Charlie Kirk. That's all I got. Because I don't know the rest of the words. I can't be bothered to learn them. Is so crazy. Ugh. Your speakers. Yeah, hopefully I wasn't blowing things out. Singing that way can be kind of loud. Here we go. Neighbors of a lifetime. Yeah, they're like the concert we did not ask for. Okay, this was a song I was listening to yesterday. My partner and I, as we were doing a million dishes. as their guitar skills were reminding me of Jimi Hendrix. I love Jimi Hendrix. Calm stuff. I think I still really like that song, but what was the name of the other one? Is it this one? I think it's Little Wing. Oh wait, no. It's One Rainy Wish. I always forget the name of this song. Excuse me. The hiccups. Even how it's a very simple drum, very simple melody, but what he's doing with the guitar, it's not even like that complicated, but the way he's going down in these chords is like not very common. It's like a new way. It's not completely new, but like a very inventive way to be doing these chord progressions. That song, because it seems pretty simple, but it is such a creative way to do songwriting. It doesn't need to have like everything thrown into it, which I think a lot of artists can, like, I love being extra. Like I can say like more is more a lot of the time, but like how he is able to be such an incredible songwriter to let the music just like speak for itself. Love. Okay. E800, Plant Food, Young Yusuf.
I don't know if they can see the better way for things to be. I pray for change and still we bleed for money, power and greed.
Is that Young Yusuf?
I can do. I stare into the skies of blue and look for you to tell me how to walk the here and now. Then the sky turned grey and frightening. Stones of hail and bolts of lightning striking down to kill the tyrants. I see it all.
Hates the vocals. The lyrics are great.
A day of peace where all were free and liberated. Great relief.
Is this a selfie stick? Or is this a drone? Oh, I love that sax. The saxes, plural.
Now we're top of the town. Young Yusuf come hot with a sound. Made the bow can't stop with the sound. It was all for the love we found. It was all
I really like these gloves. He matches shoes.
Had to focus time on healing. Deal with heartbreak, deal with demons that I can't make without reason. When I tried it, felt like treason. Dealt with lies, I trust nobody. But this spazzy time I worried. Couldn't cry, I stayed inside. Despite what I embodied, toxic trace run through my veins. Tried to break out of this game. I saw the matrix, saw the agents. I feel
Wow.
one day when I pass my name, I don't want them to be the same. Need to unlearn and meditate so they can live a better way. It's all for them, I dream and pray. Love until the cycle breaks up. Through the earth until it shakes. I heal the curse until it rains. One thing I've learned is we must release a hurt and pain. You can't escape or run away from what's inside your brain. There's no escape. You can't run away. There's no escape.
He's the British Palestinian artist.
You can't run away. There's no escape. You can't run away.
cool. Yeah, I like this. Can't believe this is only 109 views. Ooh. That took a turn I wasn't expecting.
Tell me what's going on. I just can't see where I'm going wrong. Sometimes I feel like the only one, but I stay strong. Tell me what's happening.
Adding in that like electronic is cool.
I just wanna make them take action. I said I just wanna make them take action. I said I just wanna make them take action. Tell me what's going on. I just can't see where I'm going wrong. Sometimes I feel like the only one, but I stay strong. Tell me what's happening. Should I even be rapping? I don't care about the screams or the crowd clapping. I said I just wanna make them take action. I said I just wanna make them take action. I said I just wanna make them
Just want to make him take action. Yeah, that's so powerful.
I just can't see where I'm going wrong. Sometimes I feel like the only one, but I stay strong.
Sometimes I feel like the only one.
Happening. Should I even be rapping? I don't care about the screams or the crowd clapping. I just wanna make them take action. I said I just wanna make them take action. I said I just wanna make them take action. Yeah.
Very cool. Thank you for sharing. I love hearing about new artists. Oh, Jesus. That's a jump scare. Okay, changing pace a little bit. I saw that this came out 9 days ago, that they are doing a revival of Cats on Broadway, and it is, from what I've heard, very queer, very inspired by ballroom, the New York City ballroom scene, which was created by primarily Black queer people, trans people, as a place for acceptance, as well as, you know, other people of color. This is where we get a lot of our slang now, like when people are saying like diva or like how I say something's fierce, that comes from ballroom. Slay, that is very ballroom. It's language that has gotten into the mainstream that used to be more queer coded so that you could understand if someone was queer, and now there are more people using this language that I'm like young people especially, that I'm like, oh, this is no longer like a signal to like pick up if someone's queer. I also think I was born to direct the musical Cats. I secretly, not so secretly, I unironically love the musical Cats, and I'm excited to see what their interpretation of it is. It's going to be camp and fabulous, I'm sure. My take on it would be very kink forward, so like kittens, like kitten play. I would have a lot of burlesque and strip dancing. There would be pole dancers, like people who are able to move in such like a graceful feline way. That would be my take on it. It would be very, it would feel like an erotic feline fever dream.
On Broadway. It's one of the most successful musicals in Broadway history. And now, Andrew Lloyd Webber's
Ballroom? Tell me more. I know. Ballroom is so good. If you haven't seen Paris is Burning, I think they might have that. Missed the description if you did say. Yeah. The ballroom scene was started in New York City, primarily in Harlem. It was started first by Black, queer, trans people, and it was a way where people, like, especially when they were kicked out of their homes, that people created houses, so like chosen family. And over time, there were more people of color that joined the scene. This is where voguing comes from. So like Madonna co-opting that. Like as you see people like do this, that kind of stuff. People walking on runways, like having categories like with fashion. That is ballroom. Ballroom is incredibly catty at times, and this is where like the term reading comes from, where like if you don't look good, then someone's going to read you. You know. And a lot of our modern slang has come from ballroom, so like especially with younger generations saying like slay, like that I think has come to be known as like drag culture, but a lot of things in drag culture come from ballroom. Maybe I'll go over that next week, like the history of ballroom. That would be cool. There was a show that was like a ballroom competition called Legendary that was on HBO for like 2 seasons, and then they canceled it because they're queerphobic. But the talent is insane, like what people are able to do, and it really is just like a celebration of queerness and of having melanated skin and having a place of acceptance, but also like it's a training ground for the real world, like reading, where and like shade, if you're shading someone, where like if you have like quick wits and you know how to like talk back to someone or like drag someone, that like you are more equipped to do that when you are faced with it on the street, not with people who are like technically on your side, you know? So it's like, it can be a friendly thing, it can be like a mean thing among queer people, but it is with the understanding of like, yeah, like when it comes down to it, like we're here because we are not accepted in the outside world, so we support each other. Hopefully that provides a little more context. But I do highly recommend the documentary Paris is Burning. It is very good. I think it might even be on YouTube. Maybe we should watch that. Getting ideas.
Oh, wait till you see this. Back now on GMA with Cats, back on Broadway. It's one of the most successful musicals in Broadway history. And now, Andrew Lloyd Webber's worldwide phenomenon
I'm
is
so
getting a
late to the
brand
party.
new life
No.
on stage with Cats,
I think a lot
the
of
Jellicle
people
Ball.
are not
So in
familiar
this
with
production,
ballroom,
dropped
or
the
like
characters
they
for Cats
are familiar with
into a
aspects of it,
competition
but
set in
not
Harlem
the
ballroom
actual
dance
history.
scene.
So I
Critics
don't
calling
think
it a
so at
big,
all.
joyous glitter bomb. Cats, the Jellicle Ball, is playing right now at the Broadhurst Theater, but might as well just see it right here on GMA.
What's a Jellicle cat?
Okay. I love this already. Usually in ballroom, there's an MC. So a lot of things from like hip hop come from queer ballroom MCs, where there's a lot of type of like rapping and just like off the cuff stylizing that happens that has influenced hip hop. They're voguing. Oh, I love this. I sing this song to my cats. Jellicle cats and jellicles do. The rainbow Uggs. Oh. So fierce. Yeah, so this, do you hear that like snare sound, like that in the background? That's a ballroom sound. If you hear that in music, that comes from ballroom, where it's like boom boom tss, boom tss, and that's where people vogue, and or songs that people vogue to. So that's where that comes from. But there are different categories when it comes to ballroom competitions. There's like voguing femme, so like people who are like women and femme, people who are male and femme, the they thems who are more femme. Like they break it up into more like categories like that as to how you're presenting. And they also have butch categories as well. And then they have like the fashion categories. There's a category called like body, and there's a face category. So when people say like your face card, that comes from ballroom. When you say like body yaddy yaddy, that comes from ballroom as well. There's also like themes that people choose, but there's like business, yeah, like a businesswoman, like CEO chic. There's like military, but it's like taking back the power from these people by like doing it in like a queer, actually tasteful way.
The category is arms control.
Arm control. See, the category is, that's very ballroom. That's what an MC does. When people say they understood the assignment, that comes from ballroom, meaning like you understood what the category was. Wow.
Shake that.
Austin Show has put drag brunch on my bucket list. I love drag brunch. Yeah, it's like come with tips, tip the girls, be into the show, don't touch people if they are not touching you first. Those are some basic like drag brunch etiquette rules. Drag brunch is really fun. And if you're able to go to like a drag show outside of brunch, that's where you get to see people put on even more like okay, I have to explain that. But if you go to a drag show that is like at night, that's when you get to see people do more of like their hard-hitting commentary, sometimes like edgy, like transgressive, emphasis on the trans stuff that they can't normally do in brunch. It tends to be a little more like family friendly. Like there was one drag show that I went to. It was an evening one. There was a drag queen named Naomi Smalls who was on RuPaul's Drag Race that I went to see with a friend. And one of the opening queens, so they had local queens, one of the queens dressed up as the green M&M and played Tucker Carlson, like when he was like, what's going on? Like how he was so pissed that the green M&M didn't have heels anymore. So the number was all about that. Like, yeah, I've seen a number of drag queens do numbers dressed as Erica Kirk. Like, it is such a great way to provide social commentary and satire. As an Edom Online user, hearing all this verbal tea is so refreshing. Yeah, exactly. Which even tea, that comes from ballroom. Like, it's not necessarily like, oh, it's piping hot tea. Like, when people would say tea, it would be like, oh, they clocked my tea. Saying you clock someone, that comes from ballroom as well. So it means like the letter T, which is like T for truth. And what that would mean is like people knowing you're queer, people knowing you're trans. And when people clock you, that means that like they're able to be like, oh, like they're calling you out, they're outing you for a reason. And now it's kind of come to mean like truth in other ways. So like when we say like, oh, what's the tea? That's like, what's the truth? Like, what's the gossip? Those moves that they were doing, like laying back like that, those are called shablams in ballroom. And people get mad if you call them death drops because a lot of drag queens call them death drops, which drag is a category of ballroom as well. So like there's a reason why a lot of more like mainstream drag has picked up stuff from ballroom. It's like, I'll show you. That is a shablam. And you have to be really careful as you do it so you don't like do this. The queer elders. That's Laomi! Laomi is a ballroom legend. She's won like so many ballroom competitions. I didn't know she was in this. They actually are getting like the icons. That also is very ballroom to say icon. It comes from Andy Warhol with him using like celebrities, like iconography in the Catholic Church, essentially being like, these are our saints as queer people, which is fun. But also Andy Warhol, I think, commercialized a lot of queer art and co-opted art that would have been much more revolutionary. So there's that. But this is amazing. Oh, also people doing this, like that, or like doing this, like with nails, that comes from ballroom as well. I thought it was Jaden Smith who coined it. Yeah. Yep. There's a history there. Cute. Oh, I love that. I bet the comments are like, they turned Cats gay. Girl, have you not watched the OG? Yes, Cats is extremely gay. I'll never forget the day the teaser dropped on Twitter and everyone was like, oh, finally, this makes sense. Yes, exactly. Exactly. This is why, like, the commercial approach to Cats, like, the weird, like, CGI version, they were trying to make it mainstream, and it's not supposed to be mainstream. It's so specific and niche that it's like, okay, first it's theater people who like musicals, then it's people dressed up as cats, and there isn't really a storyline. It's just like enjoying like being a cat. It's very gay. And so they were trying to like straight wash it, mainstream wash it, and it doesn't lend itself to that, which is why I think doing like a queer kink version would make it even more niche, but also really lend itself well. This is how you do a revival. Exactly. Whoever came up with the concept of combining Cats musical with ballroom and voguing deserve a raise. I mean, you could just say ballroom because voguing is included in ballroom. Original Cats. That's so 80s in a cringy way. Cats Revival. That's so 80s in a fly fabulous way. Yeah. Love. This is why we should never be like how art is driven by capitalists. They should not be the decision makers for art, why they create all of these like reruns of things, like the recreation of all of these Disney movies, like live action shit. It's like they are just trying to make money. They aren't interested in like saying something, and that's what makes art good. So there's a Shrek themed drag brunch. Oh my god. That will be so funny. Shrek is so drag. Like Shrek itself is just absurd. Oh my god. That is so funny. Okay. Moving along. So this is Otiken. They are an indigenous band from Siberia. And the lyrics are in the Dolgan language, indigenous people of the Taimyr Peninsula, Siberia, Russia. So they are doing this folk pop, like metal sound. I've shown some of their stuff before, but they are incredible. They use traditional instruments in traditional dress, just a celebration of culture, and they make really great art. This is a new song that came out, a couple of weeks ago, and I haven't listened to it yet, so I'm excited. No! I thought I refreshed it even. Hello, Froggy Mono. He just came out with a new one. This new one? This song or a Shrek drag brunch? Welcome. So everyone's just so hot. Ooh. Oh, if you follow them, they make such amazing art. I love that you know who they are. Bringing culture to this colonized place. Cat guys dancing. This is not even on beat. What? These people are so Eastern European looking. You made a copy of a song? Like you did a cover of them? Yeah, that would be cool. Love that. Jaw heart, of course. I'm not exactly sure what the term is in this language. Oh, they're tapping? Siberian, it said Dolgan. But they are Siberian. Yes. Now they're actually going to the tundra like they were singing about. They're so cool. It's bigger than cheating. I saw a video last night that said Klay Thompson is a light-skinned PBS logo. That made me laugh. If you don't know what the PBS logo looks like, it's this. Sadie looks like that. He kind of does. Ooh. Cruel Riz. I know the PBS logo from Hassan's parody. Oh, we're talking about different PBSs, but PBS is the one that I was showing is like public broadcasting system. It was defunded. It was used to be funded publicly by the government and defunded with this fascist regime because again, they hate knowledge. So that's like an educational channel. PBS, what he says is like the Piker broadcasting system, but he does an impression of PBD, who is like a right-wing podcaster who's extremely dumb. I've watched like 2 seconds of his podcast and I immediately went out of it. This is so pretty.
In the paddies, water to their knees, growing food for millions while their children go unfed.
Yep, exactly.
Hunger taught us how to bind. The merchant counts his gold and
He has a logo too that is like the real one. Okay, got you. You know, Tiger isn't as cool as Mr. Rogers, but he's fine. Yeah, I agree. Lake Superior, very cool. I really like this compilation. So this is Otiken?
It's the calculus of greed. Subsidies flow northward, tyrants build the walls. Surplus rots in silos while the price rises and falls. Kings grow fat,
What did you make this on?
brain decides the hand of fate. They call it market forces like the market has a soul. But markets don't feel hunger.
Is this another song that's laid over? Rosie Campbell and robot music. Multiple things. Okay. Starry, Starry Night.
C'est le calcul de l'avidité qui plie.
Yeah, the lyrics are really powerful.
Baseball in the hands, between the field and table.
Yep.
The people go unseen. Speculators trading futures on a grain they'll never taste, hoarding for the price spike while our harvest goes to waste. They say there's not enough, that's the oldest lie. Rice enough for everyone, just not the will to try. Sankoku na kome, cruel rice. Shiroi haga kori no yo nikiru. Cruel rice, sekai wo yashinai. Daisho wo yashinai. Mountains wide and snow. Montagnes blanches. Kokomichi te the hungry come and go. La faim nous suit. Iwa suzuku zankoku na go. Race crew. Cruel rice, enough to feed the world 10 times. Asipo no real monde ziko. Va-t-il loko ekieru the crime of letting plenty lead, craving the l'abondance. Yutaka no tsumi,
Froggy
so close to
lyrics.
hunger's tears. Si près de l'âme
Music
de la faim.
handpicks or robo
Bueno namida no
giants. Robo giants?
sobani.
I don't know what that means. Like AI? Yeah, I really like the photos you got of nature. Cool. Thank you for sharing. Okay. Okay, before we get into this, Cobra is a Swedish house music creator, a lot of like electro pop that is kink forward, BDSM forward, queer. I think she's also part of the ballroom scene in Sweden. And there's this song, what is it? Nope. This one that I wanted to show. This Lady Gaga Doechii song. I have been waiting to listen to this and watch it because I wanted to do it on the stream. But the thumbnail for it, Lady Gaga looks like Cobra. And I at first thought it was Cobra when I saw it. So this has been out for a bit, 4 years. The song's called Good Puss, so you know immediately what it's about. It's very sex positive.
I just wanna feel good, gotta lay down with some good kush. Got a good girl, a real good bush. Come and go get a real good puss. I just wanna feel good, gotta lay down with some good kush. Got a good girl.
I listen to this song in my car.
Go get a real good puss. I just wanna feel good, gotta lay down with some good kush. Got a good girl, a real good bush. Come and go get a real good puss. I just wanna feel good, gotta lay down with some good kush. Got a good
Can't wait to play this at church. Collab with Shy Girl. That would be so cool. It's the point of having a cat if you don't play songs like this for her. Be Giving the gays everything they need.
Thirsty, I swear. Lipstick, tight skirt. Dirty, thick girl. Dive in reverse. Eat lunch, I swear. A real good puss. A real good puss. A real good puss. A real good puss.
And an aerial suspension.
I just wanna feel good. Gotta lay down with some good kush. Quite a good girl.
Some good kush.
Come and go get a real good puss. I just wanna feel good. Gotta lay down with some good kush. Quite a good girl.
There's some great music that comes out of Sweden.
I just wanna feel good. Gotta
Maybe
lay
it's because
down
they
with some good kush. Quite a good girl. A real good bush. Come and go get
have a nightlife scene.
I just wanna feel good. Gotta lay down with some good kush.
And queerness isn't quite as outlawed. So that sound, there, the horn sound, that's often used in ballroom music as well. You gotta hide in the studio from the cold. Yeah, true. Cold, they're drinking. People are allowed to be more queer. Okay. I wonder if this will show the thumbnail that I was thinking of. This is the Runway song that Lady Gaga and Doechii created for The Devil Wears Prada 2. This already is very ballroom. So talking about a runway, that also is like where people do their categories. Yeah, like having hands like this, we see that like ballroom has been influenced by so many different cultures, by many people of color. Like many of these hand gestures like are very reminiscent of some Hindustani dancing and traditional Desi dances. See, I thought she was Cobra at first. Ooh.
I'm feeling vibe, I'm feeling free, I feel exceptionally me. Hate all you want, but I'm dangerous. You're gonna burn your tongue on this tea. Might show up late, might be on
Burn your tongue on the tea.
This paparazzi routine, bitch, I came to be seen. Yes. Serve a little sass. Yes.
Oh, also, this is, I also interrupt, especially with these more like bigger pop songs, bigger name songs. They love copyright, so I try to break it up. Saying someone is like cunty or like they're giving, that is also ballroom, comes from ballroom. Which all of this is very cunty. Ooh. Lady Gaga was that last one too? No, the last one was Cobra, but upon seeing Lady Gaga in this with like her blonde eyebrows and like the blonde wig, I thought it was Cobra at first, but it's not. It's Lady Gaga. Oh my god. The looks.
Everywhere I go, can't get me, face card froze. Never gonna see me waiting at the door, no. Get out the way, ho.
This is my face. Yeah, they're voguing. Wearing this captain hat. That's very common in ballroom. Also in kink, a lot of dominatrixes wear those. I like that Cobra one. Yeah, I'll send the links to all of these in the Discord after. Wow. That's a RuPaul reference. I mean, comes from ballroom to say sachet. Why is the UK turf island? We have such a shared affinity for the word cunt. Exactly. Automod does not share. Exactly. I think especially in Australia. Australians love the word cunt. Which it's also like a reclamation of the word of like changing it from a derogatory thing to like the height of being. Like the height of art. Look at this fucking budget. Looks like there was a Rue girl there. I think Aja. Look at this. This is where I thought she looked like Cobra. That's something I really enjoy about Lady Gaga is that she actually hires dancers who are part of the genre of dance. Like she did this with Abracadabra. Like I recognized some of the people dancing there because they are frequent dancers for like in the queer world and like for like on various shows, or they've won awards for things, choreographers. It's like actually getting representation. Lady Gaga gets better looking as she gets older. I agree. Which is atypical for a lot of famous people. True. It also helps when you have money. But I agree. I think she's just like unafraid to try things too. And when as people get older, I think they get boring. They get boring a lot. This Chinese AI music video? Oh no. Not AI. AI Hua? Crazy work. This is AI? Okay, yeah, that's AI. Not like people can't do that, but how smoothly she went down.
I don't claim a crown, I just guard my skin. World too loud, so I lock it within. Anger in my chest, but I breathe it slow. I'm a quiet storm
He's
that
here.
you'll never control.
First AI song I fell for. Oh, damn. Unfortunately, it's kind of hard. I agree with these people. We can't let AI win like this. Warner Music China. Yeah, it's not bad. And most AI art is so horrible. I'll give it to him. I'm not going to show the rest because I don't want to give AI that motion, but thank you for sharing. This is helpful because I am notably not on social media. That is wild. Okay, this is a new song by Kneecap, and I've been listening to them more. Irish Goodbye. This is a short film, so I may watch this at a higher speed. Oh god.
Got that in your fucking eye.
You ready for the party?
It doesn't even look like you're wearing a mask. Hey, Nana. How's things? Sorry, I've just been wrecked tired from college. That's a good one.
Chinese AI is better than Western AI. No. Clearly.
From you. Crack
Clearly.
and I'll chat to you again soon. Okay. Bye.
Cunt.
Alright.
As we were just talking about.
Oh, fucking Jesus.
Well.
Oh my God. Fuck me.
If the shoe fits.
He fucking asked for it. Big flowers Frankie was fucking fuming putting together. You know she topped himself too. She must thought I was a right cunt.
Yeah, you look bad enough fucking walking around with that.
Right.
That's pretty fierce to me.
That was a 6-pint deep joke. You weren't fucking meant to actually get it made.
He'd have fucking liked it though.
I don't know. I don't know what he'd have liked. Does fucking this without a word. Didn't tell us anything. Brilliant.
A rosary. Oh, that's a cool shot in between the bushes.
I'm sorry for your troubles, Michael.
Thank you. I'll be with you soon.
This guy. At first I didn't recognize him. He's a famous Irish actor. He was on Game of Thrones. Onion Knight, I believe. Lord Davos, I think.
Have you been to bed, Mom? Mom?
Okay, so it looks like there's a funeral happening. Okay. We're getting into the music. I'll slow it down again. And K Tempest. I haven't heard of that person. I love that they rap in Irish. That actor just got even cooler in my mind. He also has been outspoken about Palestine. Ooh. Gaelic music. Am I saying that correctly? I watched the show Guinness recently, and there was class consciousness to it, also talking about a free Ireland, which was cool, but there were so many missed opportunities for revolutionary art to be shown.
No one's really talking about it, are they?
Fucking theme, isn't it?
So it seems like the young man they were showing at the beginning, he was the one who passed away.
never said anything to me. Why didn't I know?
Me neither.
Sorry.
Oh, yep. Because he had a picture with that mask.
So here, did you find all of his weird porn as well?
Fuck's sake.
Sorry.
Take a man and make it rash get jaw. I can him till the concert think of fall up on the jaw. And the clothes check the nurse on the flash.
He's such a good actor.
It's a rendas, bitch, you're more ring the G, free from chicken fire. She didn't take a woman, Maru. Time shots that was the core, but here some time before. She leaned on my hole, she watched a listen jaw. I'll do let you do. Need on my shot to a ragger, just sit back, the courage on the baggers. You give me honey fan.
So saying goodbye, as in death, with the song being called Irish Goodbye. He's still there.
You can't stay here forever.
No, Lola, I can't.
The clothesline.
Like,
Just, give me a minute.
Rose.
Yes, love.
Just... Sorry. Sorry. You know, just feels like maybe we could have...
Stop, sweetheart. We're never gonna have any answers.
Kind of seems like he might have died by
Her
suicide.
pain followed us like bad weather. It's raining indoors again. Come home and find her walking through walls again. Semi-conscious on the bathroom floor. I'm on first name terms with the crisis team. Coming in, I raise the parting glass to us. I can see you laughing off your problems in the smoky room. Or tying ribbons round the railings for the girls who don't get gravestones when life gave you them as you squeezed them in your open wounds. I miss you every fucking day. Wish I'd never said your name. Wish that world could have been a completely different place. Wish you'd never come to harm. Wish you'd never felt your mind split into 1,000 rooms that you got trapped inside. Tell a lie. What I wish is that you got to live your life. Keep fighting, little nightmare, goodbye. She called me a crucial McCree. She was the making of me. How come it's always the best of us that can't bear to be?
His mom was right, wasn't she?
Yeah. I think she was.
It's weird not knowing Mum. And that's it, you know?
I think it's just something that's always gonna be there. Aye.
It's a fucker.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a fucker.
Yeah, I'm guessing that's what happened because people seem to be extra sad and confused. Those we have lost and those we do not wish to lose. It's cool. I mean, sad, but I think the music video is well done. Okay. Oh, wait. I did want to show this that you shared, Linton.
They stay beneath the shadows. Your way of life erodes. They send you to the gallows. All that remains is your soul. And it's hard to shake, it's a deep-rooted thing. We only express it when we dance or we sing. It's like a cursed generational pain. Tågan changa, tågan talab, skres on kultur, skres na deni kalling the custards. All like the dust and those who are posa kosh kiva lahore. Tågan changa, tågan talab, skres on kultur, skres na deni kalling the custards. All like the dust and those who are posa kosh kiva lahore.
A way to decolonize is by using language, practicing traditions, and creating art that colonizers have tried to erase and are trying to erase.
Still it hits different when I see history unfold and repeat. It's hard to shake, it's a deep-rooted thing. We only express it when we dance or we sing. It's like a cursed generational thing. Tågan changa, tågan talab, skres on kultur, skres na deni kalling the custards. All like the dust and those who are posa kosh kiva lahore. Tågan changa, tågan talab, skres on kultur, skres na deni kalling the custards. All like the dust and those who are posa kosh kiva lahore.
I need a full Irish version, yeah. Translation of the chorus. Take the language, take the land. Yep. Erase the culture, erase the people. Colonialism turns all things to dust. Yep. And those who oppose are called terrorists. Yep. What are the situations that create revolutionaries? You hypocrite, it's ironic. The Native American will love the fuck out of this song. Yeah. Anti-colonial music speaks to people all around the world. On my mom's side are in Liverpool, but are Irish the same way as Irish Americans. but are Irish the same way as Irish Americans. What does that mean? Like, not really that Irish? It is directly over the sea, so I guess closer than Boston. True. Okay. I did want to play this low-key song. Wait, no. Here we go.
There are currently 33 political prisoners for Palestine in UK jails, held without trial, accused of the compliment of trying to stop the Gaza genocide with their bare hands.
You shared the other day.
History will absolve you and condemn the cause. For our brothers and sisters behind the wall, for our sisters and brothers that gave their all, for our brothers and sisters behind the wall, for our sisters and brothers that gave their all, for our brothers and sisters behind the wall, for the aunties and uncles not facing court, for the mothers and fathers awaiting calls. You will liberate our soul, we will vindicate you all.
I liked it enough that I wanted to play it again.
You stood tall when cowards ran. You refused to fall. You changed.
Sure. What would you recommend? I mean, Genocide Joe. That sounds good. Hand on your gun. Let's try this one.
Weapons for all occasions.
They're all equally good. Love
And
that.
everyone got excited
Love when
about the
artists are
technology. And I guess
consistent.
it was pretty incredible watching a missile fly down an air vent. Pretty unbelievable. But couldn't we feasibly use that same technology to shoot food at hungry people?
This one is dedicated to the suit-wearing arms dealers, to the champagne-sipping, depleted uranium droppers.
Keep your hand on your gun. Don't you trust anyone. Keep your hand on your gun. Don't you trust anyone.
I love this beat.
First in my scope is BAE Systems, specialize in killing people from a distance. Power is a drug and they feed the addiction. Immediate deletion of people's existence. Who says what isn't
On the
what
right
isn't
side of
legitimate
history.
resistance to push these buttons. You don't need a brave heart. State of the art darts leave more than your face scarred. You might impress an A&R with your fake bars, cause you probably think Rolls Royce only make cars. This is for the colonizers, turn bomb providers. Take this beef all the way back to Oppenheimer. They call it warfare, but your wars aren't fair. If they were to be suicide bombers in arms fairs, a scam for the funds.
Yep, Lockheed
They will mangle your
Martin.
son. If you try to speak out, they will stamp on your tongue. To your land they will come till you stand up as one is begun.
Keep your hand on your gun. Don't you trust anyone. Keep your hand on your gun.
He was detained in Israeli prison at one point in the early 2010s. Whoa.
Next in my scope is Lockheed Martin. They will tell you when the bombs need blasting. Don't think, just listen to the songs, keep dancing. Do they really want us to have our own brains? Who do you
I'm
think
glad
is
he got
really
out.
Guantanamo Bay? And it might be sensitive, but I'll mention it. Who do you think's got us filling
I saw
out the
today,
censuses? Who do you think is handing out the
there was an
sentences? This
IDF
ain't the
soldier
BBC,
who
so
like
there's no
attacked a
censorship.
French
Heard of any
nun,
mercenaries
and so now
getting
we have more of the Western world
nuns better than Eric Prince, make money
being
off
upset
anything, mainly
and
crime.
people being like, this has been happening. Are you only caring because it's happening to a French person? Probably. Abomination is so good too. Ooh. It was banned in the US? That probably means it's extra good. Banning things is so childish. Sleep well. Just being like, this should keep us all up at night. Ending with how all of this has a real world human impact on innocence. Okay. This came out a while ago. Yeah, 7 years ago. This is Denzel Curry. He has some really great rap, but he covers Bulls on Parade by Rage Against the Machine, and it is excellent. Oh no, I forgot to refresh. Rage Against the Machine went woke. They went woke, as if they already haven't been woke. As we watch that other video with Tom Morello. We rally around the family with a pocket full of shells. And we need to protect our loved ones. What machine did those right wingers think they were raging against? I know. They were like anti-establishment, but in the way of like, oh, we need to do fascist shit. Their media literacy is so bad, they probably thought it was a physical machine. Exactly. They're like, is it a gramophone? He's a great performer too. We're talking about genocide. This was 7 years ago. Being on my TV sometimes. Raging against the machine now. In a way, perhaps. Yeah, the right-wingers are probably like, we're raging against reverse racism. It's like, oh yeah, something that doesn't exist. Yeah, this got so much motion. That is how that song, that is the spirit of that song. Rage against the machine. Against the system. And that's what he was rapping about as well. I think it might have his lyrics somewhere. Actually kind of disrespectful how much Denzel bodied this track without providing the slightest of one. He could have made a whole album like this and the Grammys would still put him in the urban category. Exactly. Yeah, I thought they would have his lyrics somewhere. Because it is all racism, calling it reverse is inherently racist. Exactly. Exactly. Okay, as we're talking about anti-establishment, my partner showed me this song by Young Lean that came out. At first I was like, oh no, is this just about male aggression? But I think it's a commentary on patriarchy and how it hurts everyone, including men in patriarchy, because there are such strict confines to be existing in that are inherently oppressive, and you can't find happiness through oppressing others and while you are also being oppressed. Oh no. I keep forgetting. Just got an army ad. Ew. Yeah, fuck YouTube. We need independent platforms. Like, I know Nebula is a platform that's better. You do have to have a subscription. Yeah, we just need media platforms that are employee-owned, publicly owned. He's another Swedish artist. Earlier I got back unskippable army and booking.com. Ew, I hate that. Yep, they're losing, and so they have to dump all of this money into propaganda. Storm class of 2034, what the future is going to be like. Don't like that. Just violent initiation into acceptance and manhood. doesn't look like direct action that they're engaging in, but that would be even better. Takes a whole force to protect space. Join the Air Force. Oh my god. Space Force, too. In the US. Just feeling this need for domination and intimidation. It's into my retinas the amount of times I've gotten that ad. Ew. Yeah, especially how young men are targeted. Like, oh, cannon fodder? Hello. Please join us. I recently saw Youngling's Subway take, and he said, like, the party is officially over. Which I don't necessarily agree with. I think partying can have its uses, but, like, to excess can be harmful. Yeah, good. Defend yourself. The guppies are class of 30. Your guppies. What does that mean? Your tadpoles.
Like an empty fire, like your desire, like an empty fire. Stand tall, go higher, and on and on and on and on. I say,
The dancing here is really cool. I have to point out that it is predominantly white men, white young men, that this choreography will probably get more notice than people who originate many dance forms, primarily black people, people of color. It's pollywogs. Got you. This is really tapping into the rage, though, that I think young people are experiencing, especially young men. That is being taken advantage of by these fascists who create the circumstances for this rage and then point fingers to their enemies, their political enemies, for the reasons instead. The choreography is really cool. It's like you can be a destructive force as a group, for good or bad, or constructive. We probably need to like ice their necks after filming this. There's a lot of head throwing. him just mean mugging at the end. It's very cool. I think that's well done. Choreographer needs every award and then some. Hello, Kango. Welcome. Imagine how many times they hit. I mean, honestly. Yeah, the choreography. I love how it went from the organic chaos of male youth to the controlled choreography, showing the power and chaos of how that crazy energy, when turned in, can turn into something so beautiful and in flow and like in community. I'm gonna tell my kids this is Dead Poet Society. In a world of AI slop, this is exactly what we need. New episode of Skins just dropped. Yeah, I think it's more of a commentary on masculinity in patriarchy, what it forces people to feel like they need to do to fit in. Okay. So moving along, just as a transition into the choreography number that I'm releasing tonight at 8 o'clock Mountain Time. There are many styles that have gone into burlesque dancing, pole dancing, like striptease. One of the things that was an influence were these shows that were called Little Egypt shows that brought in people from North Africa and the Middle East, but that was also one of the reasons why the exonym and slur developed, the G word for people who are Roma, because people associated them as being from Egypt when actually they're from the Indian subcontinent. So I wanted to touch on some of these art forms, give a little bit of correction. So this is Florian. He is a Roma creator and does a lot of correcting misinformation and just overall creates really great content. So highly recommend. But Esmeralda really is one of the only like Roma representations Roma people have in culture, like pop culture, mainstream culture. This is why like so many people were upset that in the newest adaptation of Wuthering Heights that that Heathcliff was not Roma, people who have been genocided, subject to chattel slavery, and invisibilized in history, or that he wasn't black or a person of color in general. So that's a little bit of background. What are you releasing? It is a number that I choreographed, just like a little dance. So you can watch it if you so desire. I have like a stripped version on Patreon that's being released tonight. All of these things are 18 plus, so if you are not, don't watch them. I'm telling you. And I know there are many people who are doing the economic blackout for May Day today, going on strike. So if you are doing this, like, I don't encourage you to purchase the video on Patreon. You can wait until you're done with the blackout. Are you the dancer? Yep. I am the dancer. I choreographed it and also danced in it. I have not done this for like over a decade. So I'm a little bit like self-conscious, but also kind of proud and just wanting to try things. I also really just like dancing that way. So there you go. Okay, so getting more education from Mapuka to twerking, dance, resistance, and healing in the African diaspora. So Mapuka is one of the originations of twerking, and this is to provide some context for the style of dancing that I will be doing in this choreography. Actually on the lookout for that stuff from the song one prior to the Lady Gaga song anyways. Oh yeah, Cobra. Cobra has a song called Brand New Bitch. That's how you spell it. And that one's really fun. I had dance class last night. Cool. What type of dance? One of 6 dads in the recital. That's cute. I love that.
What connects these dances? Mapuka in West Africa, whining in the Caribbean.
Yeah, dance hall. This is so quiet.
And twerking in the United States. It's the hips. They share the same roots, the same code, the same ancestral rhythm that has crossed oceans, survived slavery, and adapted to every new world African people have been forced into. Welcome back to Creative Birthright. If you're new here, my name is Brienne, and I am calling us all home to our creative identity. Today,
wow, what a soothing, smooth voice. I'm going to speed it up a little bit just so we have time to get to the reading today.
Today's video is about the rhythm that lives in our hips, our pelvis, our creativity, the creative lineage of dance,
jazz,
and the African
modern,
diaspora,
is how I would
and how
classify
these
it,
movements
with a
are
side
not just
of
something
cringe.
fun to do on the weekend.
Oh, that's so
but
fun
survival.
though.
By the end of this video, I hope you understand why our African
I
ancestors
love that.
carried
It's
these
like
dances with them, and I hope you're
dance is
encouraged
about
to go out
self-expression
and twerk, whine, or
and
whatever it is
joy.
that gets your waistline moving. We often only think of creativity as
Good for you.
self-expression, but in African and diasporic traditions, it is a vital part of living. Creativity connects us to our inner essence, our ancestors, and to the divine. It keeps you grounded. It brings together communities, and it's part of the building block of culture. It's how cultural traditions are preserved and created. Dance is an example of this. And dance scholar Judith Lynn Hannah reminds us that the suppression of dance in many cultures, particularly in ritualized forms, has resulted in an imbalance in those spiritual, communal, and interpersonal qualities that regulate the individual and unifies societies. And that's because dance is a lifeline embedded in our DNA and a reminder of what makes us human. This quote also reminds us
I really
that
relate
creativity
to
is
that.
not a luxury. It is survival. And for diasporic,
Like growing up, just as like a quick side note about me, not to detract from what's happening, but what she's talking about, growing up and being put in ballet lessons from the age of 3 to like 17, 18. That style of dance did not always feel supernatural to me. And discovering more traditional Indian dances, like I mentioned this earlier in the stream, was really liberating for me. But not just traditional Indian dances, like being able to dance in the ways that I like, that I feel empowered, like that connects you to yourself. And also like going out and dancing in groups, it can be such a like community building experience where like you can meet strangers that like you immediately hit it off with. I mean, of course, like being safe, but it is like a very like science shows that it is like one of the it is an extremely healthy way for people to not only engage in physical activity, but self-expression, and also engaging in like in a pro-social manner with community, as we were talking about pro-social behavior yesterday.
people, creativity has always doubled as resistance, a refusal to let our cultural memory and humanity be erased. The suppression of African dance that Hannah talks about was no accident. Colonizers and enslavers knew what we know. Dance keeps us whole. So
Age 4
they tried
through
to take it away.
12.
But
That you
they
did
cannot keep us
ballet?
from our cultural
Wow.
lineage. And across the diaspora and on the continent, every dance form
Was it
carries
something that you
within its
wanted to
DNA
do or that you
resistance.
were
In Cote d'Ivoire,
forced into?
Mapuka was originally a
If you're
celebratory
comfortable
fertility
answering.
dance centered in the hips. Colonial authorities banned it for being indecent, but the people kept dancing. In Ghana,
Yeah, so we see how colonizers, anything that is viewed as like not being modest, whatever, it is a way to oppress people, to suppress culture, how there are these ideas about modesty for controlling particularly women's bodies, and then also eroticizing women's bodies. So like that kind of culture or style of dancing is only acceptable unless we say so in this particular way or place when it is in the service of colonizers rather than it being cultural expression. And we see how arbitrary it is because now like it's a little more acceptable in like Western society, whatever, to like show your midriff. And like that was something that was attempted to be colonized out of India, women wearing saris, that there are all of these different aspects. Like just because it's different than what you are used to, it doesn't mean that it is indecent. That is inherently racist and colonial violence, colonial erasure. Mountain time. Yes, it is mountain time. But, I mean, it'll be up. It'll be up for you.
Pan logo developed in the 1960s as youth protested social restrictions. They used traditional hip-centered rhythms to challenge authority. In Yoruba traditions, Orisha dances, like those for Oshun and Shango, were outlawed under missionaries. Yet the hips, the gestures, the trance survived in voodoo, candomblé, and Santeria.
That's good for
in the
them.
Caribbean,
That's good for
whining
them
at
to see.
Carnival emerged from emancipation celebrations. Freed people used their hips to declare joy and sexuality,
Especially
as
in
their
like
own. In Cuba,
white
rumba
colonizer
took
world,
shape under
dancing
Spanish colonialism.
seems to
Though
be
it blended African and Spanish elements, its core was defiantly African. Drums,
like not
pelvic
viewed as
isolations,
masculine at all, which is just not the case.
Criminalized it as vulgar and threatening. But rumba thrived on patios and streets.
I did a little bit of dance when I was small because my friend's mom started teaching it. Oh, that's fun. I got street dance and break dance mixed up in
called it witchcraft.
my little 8-year-old brain.
And those
I was so disappointed we
Haitian
weren't spinning.
In the U.S., the ring shout preserved
Yeah.
African ritual.
Yeah, that
Even
I
when
mean,
drums
and
were
that's
banned.
not necessarily your
Enslavers
fault
feared
that
its
you mix
circle,
those up.
rhythm, and
That
trance.
is
Yet the ring shout lived on, and out of it came gospel,
that is
blues,
done
jazz,
inherently in like
and
creating
today in the
monoliths
US,
out of
twerking,
people.
New Orleans bounce, or voguing in black queer ballrooms continue
Yep,
the tradition.
voguing.
Often mocked or demonized in mainstream culture, they are in fact dances of survival, claiming space, joy, and power in a world that denies it. So let's talk about why these dances survived bans, criminalization, and demonization. Simply put, because they heal. Ritual dances like Senegal's and Dupe or the North African Czar were designed to treat
where did the
trauma,
sound go?
to rebalance the individual and the community. The hip and pelvis became sites of release, unlocking tension and trauma stored in the body. Science confirms what our ancestors knew. Dance movement therapy reduces anxiety, depression, and PTSD. Somatic
great for
research
your mental
shows that
health.
trauma often lodges in the pelvis.
If you're dancing
and rhythmic movement
and
can
in the ways
free
that
it.
you want to.
Catherine Hazard describes African diaspora dances as rebalancing practices that ground us in rhythm and restore balance. Hi, it is future me with a quick note of correction. Her name is Katrina Hazard. Dr. Hazard to be exact, and she is a highly accomplished university professor as well as an initiated priestess in the Lukumi tradition. She is also considered to be both a leading and recognized expert in African diasporic dance forms and cultural institutions such as the Juke, as well as spiritualities, particularly hoodoo. All right, back to the video. This reconfirms for me that I should always listen to my ancestors. So many times their knowledge is dismissed as pseudoscience, and then real science catches up and tells us what we already knew to be true. So no one can ever tell me that my ancestors didn't know what they were talking about. But anyways, When we whine, twerk, or Roomba, we're not just dancing. We're resisting oppression's attempt to silence us. We're processing what words cannot. We're pulling down joy, healing.
Okay.
And
So
balance.
when we were watching the ballroom version of Cats, I was trying to remember who is one of the main creators of this older style of ballroom in the 70s and 80s in particular. It's Willy Ninja, where it's more of like slower posing, as opposed to like the whacking that's done today. Looking back, it was entirely imperialist propaganda. Yep. Where you get to light a campfire from time to time.
So at the end of a long week, don't just pour yourself a glass of wine. Wine your hips. Maybe that was a little too cliche or corny, but I thought that was funny. Anyways, this is why these dances have always been targeted. Enslavers banned drumming and circle dances in the Americas because they feared rebellion. Colonizers called African dances vulgar, savage, pagan, to strip them of spiritual
where we
power.
heard that
Even
before
within Black
in
communities,
other
respectability politics dismissed
times of
hip-centered
colonization.
dances as dirty, unladylike, or hypersexual. But let's be clear, the demonization was always about control. If you strip people of their healing practices, you weaken them. If you sexualize their rituals, you deny their sacredness. If you label their joy vulgar, you suppress their power. And the suppression of dance created some imbalance in societies and in our communities, and even in us as individuals. But luckily, we still hold on to these traditions today, and nothing was ever truly lost. And I felt this personally when I took a praise and twerkship class that was led by Jasmine Walker. And I'll put a link to their page in the description box in case you want to check it out. But that was the first time I understood twerking as spiritual practice, body worship through dance. And I felt the release while dancing. But growing up in a Christian household, I was taught that these movements were sinful, shameful even. But in that class, I felt them as a prayer, as ancestral power, as resistance. And I realized something. The demonization of these dances has been a barrier to healing for so many of us in the diaspora. By calling it vulgar, society has kept us from our medicine. This is why reclaiming our creative birthright matters. Dance is not just
the way to
art.
decolonize,
it is resistance, it is survival,
take back
it
power.
is medicine. And this reveals some larger truths about creativity. Creativity is healing. Dance proves it. Creativity connects us to the divine. Dance is prayer in motion. Creativity is communal.
I love that. Dance is prayer in motion.
Call and response. Shared rhythm. Every Afro-diasporic dance is a refusal to disappear, a testimony that we are still here, still moving, still healing, still free. Dance connects the contemporary with the traditional. It relieves stress, it calls down spirit, it holds our resistance. From mapuka to whining to Roomba to twerking, our hips testify. We carry memory in motion. We carry survival in rhythm. We carry resistance in our joy. So dance more. Learn how your ancestors moved. Reclaim your creative lineage. Because when you dance, you don't just express yourself. You resist, you heal, you return to who you are. All right, that's all I have for you today. If you learned something from this video, make sure you hit that subscribe button and be sure to hit the like button on your way out, and let me know in the comments, what is your favorite song to move your hips to? I have so many, so I created a playlist that I think I'm going to call my twerk list, but be sure to check it out. It will be linked in the description box. And until next time, I
It only has
hope between this
245
video
views.
and the next video
What?
you watch, you go out, you move your hips, you release, you call down healing,
Lover
and
Girl
you
by
bring
Meg Thee
forth
Stallion.
joy. I'll see you in the next video.
Amazing. Okay. So just continuing with, I thought I had that closer to the other video. Oh well, they're split up. So have a bad impression of Romani culture because of shows like these. Yeah, the TLC show, that's a complete misrepresentation of what it means to be Romani. No.
Shawty, I'm gonna get ya. You know I'm gonna get ya. Maybe I'll even let you be my chamak chamak chalo. Kaisa sharmana aaj
Like shimmying.
nach ke dikhane. Aa meri hole aaja pari da girane.
from the Indian diaspora. There are very similar dance moves and traditional Indian dances. Yeah, the heritage of like stepping that comes from the African diaspora, but also styles of that within Roma.
Can you dance in Romani style?
Yes, I dance different style or Roma traditional dance.
Can you give some examples?
Yes.
So these are various styles of Romani dancing. As Roma people were forced into Europe, forced to move. Romani people are not nomadic by nature. That is not part of the culture. Inherently, it is because of oppression and being driven out of places because of racism. So this is how there is a fusion of traditional Roma dancing done with in these various areas. Moving the hips. These hand gestures and poses similar to some Madras dancing in India. All right. This is the last one that I have before we get into the reading. This is Shiva Shambho, the most watched Bharatanatyam dance. So this is a traditional Indian dance. Used to worship in Hinduism, specifically Shiva in this case, the god of destruction and rebirth. This is Hinduism in a very pure, enlightening form. We have to separate it from Hindutva, which is this concept of ingratiating it into the government in India to oppress people who are not Hindu. Namah Shivaya. They're all so gorgeous. We did a collaborative project in Union last year where we in groups. From our uni, we're paired with groups from a uni in Mumbai. Ooh, that's fun. We had to combine elements from each place's folklore. That's cool. Yeah, India is an extremely diverse place where, like, Mumbai, the state of Mumbai, they speak a different language than they do in Gujarat, which is where my family is from. Where many of my family still lives. Kango, I don't know if you're still here, but Kango helps with the Miss International pageant, and we were looking at some of their photos together. He was showing me the contestants, and I was like, there really is something about a lot of the Southeast Asian women who know how to pose down to their fingertips because it's part of traditional dance. Of course, my uni couldn't ditch colonialism for 1 second, including Irish folklore and our options. Yeah, just being like, no, you belong to us. Instead of, free Ireland. Okay. Let's read. We are finishing chapter 19. Marguerite is on a walk with her friend Suzanne de Tournay, who was rescued by the Scarlet Pimpernel. She and her family from the guillotine. They are part of the ruling class, and the Scarlet Pimpernel seems to only be interested in saving the ruling class and not acknowledging the fact that maybe if the ruling class distributed some of their wealth and created better conditions for the working class, that they wouldn't feel the need to be using the guillotine in the first place. That might be more effective than saving them from these revolutionaries that they describe as being very bloodthirsty, rather than acknowledging that they want to preserve these systems rather than change them, that they disproportionately benefit from. I wouldn't have guessed you had Indian roots. Yeah, I know. I'm pretty light-skinned, and I know a lot of people, there are plenty of light-skinned Indians, especially with upper caste people, which my family is part of the Brahmin caste, which is an upper caste, and also that status is used to oppress people. So I think it's important to talk about the systems that we benefit from, the privilege there, but also how there is this rising anti-Indian sentiment, Desi sentiment in the US and Canada, around the world, just as we are seeing this larger rise in racism against people who are non-white in this fascist regime. Okay. Let's see, where did I leave off? Okay, so Marguerite is starting to realize that maybe Sir Percy, who she thought was this idiot, might be the Scarlet Pimpernel, when she is claimed to be the cleverest woman in Europe when she's not able to see these obvious signs in front of her. So I want to visit Kerala so bad. Yeah, Kerala's a really cool place. One of the places where there has been a socialist, Marxist, communist, Maoist resistance, Dalit resistance, which is the caste known as the Untouchables, because the caste system is still intact despite it technically being abolished. it is a place that has a lot more equality and acceptance. It still has its own like issues, but yeah, much more than in other parts of India. I agree. I would love to go to Kerala. Rohan Davis, he is a creator that I show from time to time on YouTube. He is from Kerala and has quite a bit of history that he goes over, if you're interested. Okay, so Marguerite is distracted, thinking about her husband possibly being the Scarlet Pimpernel, and Suzanne is her old school friend. They're walking together, and Marguerite just asked about her dad, who is still in France.
"Oh," said Suzanne, with mad glee. "The best we could possibly hear. My Lord Hastings came to see Maman early this morning. He said that all is well now with dear Papa, and we may safely expect him here in England in less than 4 days."
"Yes," said Marguerite, whose glowing eyes were fastened on Suzanne's lips as she continued merrily. Is that some sapphic longing I'm picking up on?
"Oh, we have no fear now. You don't know, chérie, that great and noble Scarlet Pimpernel himself has gone to save Papa. He is gone, chérie, actually gone," added Suzanne excitedly. "He was in London this morning, and will be in Calais, perhaps tomorrow, where he will meet Papa, and then...
The blow had fallen. She had expected it all along, though she had tried for the last half hour to delude herself and to cheat her fears, meaning Marguerite. He had gone to Calais, had been in London this morning. He, the Scarlet Pimpernel, Percy Blakeney, her husband. Yeah, bitch, the writing has been on the wall. Whom she had betrayed last night to Chauvelin, the revolutionary, who is Chauvelin, who is portrayed as like this evil, cunning guy when he is actually supporting the working class in the revolution. Percy, her husband, the Scarlet Pimpernel? Oh, how could she have been so blind? She understood it now, all at once. The part he played, the mask he wore, in order to throw dust in everybody's eyes. And all for sheer sport and devilry, of course, saving men, women, and children from death, as other men destroy and kill animals for the excitement, the love of the thing. The idle rich man wanted some aim in life. He and the few young bucks he enrolled under his banner had amused themselves for months in risking their lives for the sake of an innocent few. Yeah, trying to make them out to be all of these heroes when it's like, okay, you have all of this generational inherited wealth. You don't have to work for money. So what else do you have to do besides save people in your own class, rather than changing the circumstances that created their peril in the first place? Perhaps he had meant to tell her when they were first married, and then the story of the Marquis de Saint-Cyr had come to his ears, and he had suddenly turned from her, thinking, no doubt, that she might some day betray him and his comrades, who had sworn to follow him, and so he had tricked her, as he tricked all others. Whilst hundreds now owed their lives to him, and many families owed him both life and happiness. The mask of the inane fop, had been a good one, and the part consummately well played. No wonder that Chauvelin's spies had failed to detect in the apparently brainless nincompoop. That's just a funny word to me.
Hi, buddy. Hi.
Oh?
You have something on your paw?
Oh. I thought he wanted a pet and then dodged.
Where are you going?
He did this yesterday too, where he comes in, has a couple meows, and then leaves. Just has an announcement, I guess. I don't know what that would be. No wonder that Chauvelin's spies had failed to detect in the apparently brainless nincompoop man whose reckless daring and resourceful ingenuity had baffled the keenest French spies, both in France and in England. Even last night, when Chauvelin went to Lord let's try that again. Even last night, when Chauvelin went to Lord Grenville's dining room to seek that daring Scarlet Pimpernel, he only saw that inane Sir Percy Blakeney fast asleep in a corner of the sofa. Had his astute mind guessed the secret then, he laid the whole awful, horrible, amazing puzzle. In betraying a nameless stranger to his fate in order to save her brother, had Marguerite Blakeney sent her husband to his death? No, 1,000 times no. Surely fate could not deal a blow like that. Nature—
Oh, hi, Tiny.
Nature itself would rise in revolt. Her hand, when it held that tiny scrap of paper last night, would surely have been struck numb ere it committed a deed so appalling and so terrible, just taking away, her own contribution.
But what is it, chérie? Said little Suzanne, now genuinely alarmed, for Marguerite's color had become dull and ashen. Are you ill, Marguerite? What is it? Nothing, child, she murmured as in a dream. Wait a moment. Let me think. Think. You said the Scarlet Pimpernel had gone today? ... Marguerite, chérie, what is it? You frighten me. It is nothing, child. I tell you, nothing. I must be alone a minute. And, dear one, I may have to curtail our time together today. I may have to go away. You'll understand? I understand that something has happened, chérie, and that you want to be alone. I won't be a hindrance to you. I don't think of me. My maid Lucille has not yet gone. We will go back together. Do not think of me.
She threw her arms impulsively round Marguerite. Child as she was, she felt the poignancy of her friend's grief, and with the infinite tact of her girlish tenderness, she did not try to pry into it, but was ready to efface herself. She kissed Marguerite again and again. That was more of a thing, but... then walked sadly back across the lawn. Marguerite did not move. She remained there, thinking, wondering what was to be done. Just as little Suzanne was about to mount the terrace steps, a groom came running round the house towards his mistress. He carried a sealed letter in his hand. Suzanne instinctively turned back. Her heart told her that here, perhaps, was further ill news for her friend, and she felt that her poor Margot was not in a fit state to bear any more. The groom stood respectfully beside his mistress. Then he handed her the sealed letter. "What is that?" asked Marguerite.
Just come by Renner, my lady.
Marguerite took the letter mechanically and turned it over in her trembling fingers. "Who sent it?" she said.
"The Renner, my lady."
Oh, wait, nope.
"The runner, my lady," replied the groom, "that his orders were to deliver this, and that your ladyship would understand from whom it came."
Marguerite tore open the envelope. Already her instinct told her what it contained, and her eyes only glanced at it mechanically. It was a letter by Armand Saint-Just to Sir Andrew Ffoulkes, the letter which Chauvelin's spies had stolen at the Fisherman's Rest, and which Chauvelin had held as a rod over her to enforce her obedience. Now he had kept his word. He had sent her back Saint-Just's compromising letter, for he was on the track of the Scarlet Pimpernel. Marguerite's senses reeled. Her very soul seemed to be leaving her body. She tottered, and would have fallen but for Suzanne's arm round her waist. With superhuman effort, she regained control over herself. There was yet much to be done. "Bring that runner here to me," she said to the servant, with much calm. "Has he not gone?"
"No, my lady."
The groom went, and Marguerite turned to Suzanne. "And you, child, run within. Tell Lucille to get ready. I fear that I must send you home, child. And stay, tell one of the maids to prepare a traveling dress and cloak for me." Suzanne made no reply. She kissed Marguerite tenderly and obeyed without a word. The child was overawed by the terrible, nameless misery in her friend's face. A minute later, the groom returned, followed by the runner who had brought the letter.
Who gave you this packet? Asked Marguerite.
A gentleman, my lady, replied the man, at the Rose and Thistle Inn opposite Charing Cross. He said you would understand.
At the Rose and Thistle? What was he doing?
He was waiting for the coach, your ladyship, which he had ordered.
The coach?
Yes, my lady, a special coach he had ordered. I understood from his man that he was posting straight to Dover.
That's enough. You may go. Then she turned to the groom. So we don't even get his name. Okay. My coach and the 4 swiftest horses in the stables, to be ready at once. The groom and runner went both quickly off to obey. Marguerite remained standing for a moment on the lawn, quite alone. Her graceful figure was as rigid as a statue. Her eyes were fixed. Her hands were tightly clasped across her breast. Her lips moved as they murmured with pathetic, heart-breaking persistence. What's to be done? What's to be done? Where to find him? Oh God, grant me light! But this was not the moment for remorse and despair. She had done unwittingly an awful and terrible thing, the very worst crime in her eyes that woman ever committed. Okay, not like enslaving people or colonization. Also, again, the patriarchal propaganda.
How could you betray your husband?
She saw it in all its horror. Her very blindness in not having guessed her husband's secret seemed now to her another deadly sin. She ought to have known. She ought to have known. How could she? Also, Baroness Orsi just loves to repeat a lot of the same phrases and words, and to me, that's lazy writing. How could she imagine that a man who could love with so much intensity as Percy Blakeney had loved her from the first? How could such a man be the brainless idiot he chose to appear? She at least ought to have known that he was wearing a mask, and having found that out, she should have torn it from his face whenever they were alone together. Her love for him had been paltry and weak, easily crushed by her own pride, and she too had worn a mask in assuming a contempt for him, whilst as a matter of fact, she completely misunderstood him. Imagine if they had actually communicated. That would have done wonders. But there was no time now to go over the past. By her own blindness she had sinned. Now she must repay, not by empty remorse, but by prompt and useful action. Percy had started for Calais, utterly unconscious of the fact that his most relentless enemy was on his heels. He had set sail early that morning from London Bridge, provided he had a favorable wind, on his yacht. Excuse me. He would no doubt be in France within 24 hours. No doubt he had reckoned on the wind and chosen this route. Chauvelin, on the other hand, would post to Dover, charter a vessel there, and undoubtedly reach Calais much about the same time. Once in Calais, Percy would meet all those who were eagerly waiting for the noble and brave Scarlet Pimpernel, who had come to rescue them from the horrible and unmerited death. Yeah, emphasis on noble, meaning like titled. Imagine if he had this much sympathy for people who were suffering under the conditions his class created. With Chauvelin's eyes now fixed upon his every movement, Percy would thus not only be endangering his own life, but that of Suzanne's father, the old Comte de Tournay, and of those whose fugitives who were waiting for him and trusting in him. There was also Armand, who had gone to meet de Tournay, secure in the knowledge that the Scarlet Pimpernel was watching over his safety. All these lives, and that of her husband, lay in Marguerite's hands. These she must save, if human pluck and ingenuity were equal to the task. Unfortunately, she could not do all this quite alone. Once in Calais, she would not know where to find her husband, while Chauvelin, in stealing the papers at Dover, had obtained the whole itinerary. Above everything, she wished to warn Percy. She knew enough about him, by now, to understand that he would never abandon those who trusted in him, that he would not turn back from danger, and leave the Comte de Tournay to fall into the bloodthirsty hands that knew of no mercy. Because you showed mercy to working class people. He has class solidarity. But if he were warned, he might form new plans, be more wary, more prudent. Unconsciously, he might fall into a cunning trap, but once warned, he might yet succeed. And if he failed, if indeed fate and Chauvelin were, with all the resources at his command, proved too strong for the daring plotter after all,
then at least she would be there by his side, to comfort, love, and cherish, to cheat death perhaps at the last by making it seem sweet, if they died both together, locked in each other's arms, with the supreme happiness of knowing that passion had responded to passion, and that all misunderstandings were at an end. Her claiming that Chauvelin has all of these resources at his disposal, when, like, he took a coach, which would have been cheaper to do, and then took a boat, whereas, like, Sir Percy has his own yacht that he is sailing to France on, that Chauvelin, really, his resources are, community in revolution and solidarity there, not like they have all of this money at their disposal, which is why they resorted to the guillotine. Her whole body stiffened as with a great and firm resolution. This she meant to do, if God gave her wits and strength. Her eyes lost their fixed look. She glowed with inward fire at the thought of meeting him again so soon. In the very midst of most deadly perils, they sparkled with the joy of sharing these dangers with him, of helping him, perhaps, of being with him at the last, if she failed. The childlike sweet face had become hard and set. The curved mouth was closed tightly over her clenched teeth. She meant to do or die, with him and for his sake. A frown, which spoke of an iron will and unbending resolution, appeared between the two straight brows. Already her plans were formed. She would go and find Sir Andrew Ffoulke first. He was Percy's best friend, and Marguerite remembered with a thrill, with what blind enthusiasm the young man always spoke of his mysterious leader. He would help her where she needed help. Her coach was ready, a change of raiment, and a farewell to little Suzanne, and she could be on her way. Without haste, but without hesitation, she walked quietly into the house. Without haste, but without hesitation. Don't those mean the same thing? It's just redundant. Anyway. That's chapter 19. That's going to be it for me today. You can look for the dance number that's coming out at 8 o'clock p.m. Mountain Time, if you are interested. And if you would like to watch both of them are 18 and up, so abide by that, please. And especially the Patreon one is the stripped version that you can purchase, but with May Day today, International Workers' Day, you will probably want to wait till tomorrow or whenever you are done with the economic blackout. So, thank you for being here. It was good chatting with you all. Thank you for your recommendations as well. It's fun to see what you all are looking at and excited about with culture. I hope you have a good rest of your day, evening. Have a good weekend, and I will see you soon. Okay, bye.